morning, everyone. How are you today? My name is Erin McLaughlin. I'm one of the coaches here that's going to be hanging with you today. Hey, Susan. Good morning. Do you have screen share, Susan?
Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
Screen, host disabled participant screen.
Okay, that's why I didn't know if you had all of the tools that you need. Let me give you what you need.
Thank you.
And did you see the new slides?
I did. I believe I'm using the correct slides.
All right, great. You should have it now.
Okay. Can you guys see my slide, Ignite?
Yep.
Yes. Awesome. How's everyone doing? Hello?
You can come off mute and
Very
say good
good.
morning.
Ready to learn.
I'm like, hello, is anybody out there? This is the power of language today, so we need to talk.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Good morning. This is Grace.
Hi, Grace.
I'm on my second week.
Awesome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Morning.
Hi, everybody. I'll give it a couple more minutes here.
Yep.
For folks to get here. Hey, Carlos, I'm so happy to see you.
Hi, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay.
I sure can. It's a little bit rainy up here in New Hampshire this morning. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I do have a headset. If it starts getting a little bit hard to hear, just let me know.
Sound perfect.
And I'll pop that on.
Hi, Susan. I'm Nina, your MCTT for your session.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. So would you like me to monitor the chat for you and that sort of thing?
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
Very good.
I did set an alarm on my phone so that I don't forget to give everybody a break.
You're ready for the day then.
I am.
So Nina and Tim, I just made you co-hosts as well.
Uh-oh. Now I can play with all the toys. Very excited.
You can do whatever you need to do.
Oh boy. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
If Tim's here, then why am I even here? My goodness, you got this all, Tim.
I don't know about that.
Awesome. Well, I'm all for getting started on time if you guys are.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get going.
Before we get started, could I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so I was in the class yesterday, but I had to leave halfway through, and I went onto the YouTube channel to see yesterday's meeting, but what was posted wasn't what I was in yesterday. So I'm not sure what happened.
Well, I
So-
can't help you with that, but maybe Erin can.
Well, yeah, is it dated properly? I mean, did you
It had yesterday's date on it, but
Okay.
it was like different people, like it wasn't the meeting that I was in yesterday, and I did it through this link.
Okay. So the region has a point person who's posting those. So I will take that information and I will message her right now to find out. And if we can get an answer for you by the end of the class, I'll let you know. Yeah, otherwise I would suggest you probably just keep checking back and hopefully it will get corrected.
Okay, somebody also posted a link to it on the Facebook page, but it wasn't the class. It was just like a 13-second video of
Yeah.
somebody staring at the screen.
Oh,
I'm
Yeah,
not
Okay.
sure what's happening. But I just wanted to let you guys know.
yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. We will look into it.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you
we're
so
gonna pull
much.
those down and we're gonna put up Fast and Furious 1 and 2 for your pleasure while we're fixing
Okay.
everything else behind the scenes.
Thank you.
Just to keep you on your toes. Stay dangerous.
Perfect. Perfect. Cool. Well, if you're here for Powerful Language Gets Results for Ignite, then you're in the right day, in the right place, in the right time. So are we ready to get started?
yes.
Awesome. Okay. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Susan Kenyon. I am out of the Portsmouth, New Hampshire office. I am licensed in New Hampshire and Maine. I am an agent, so when I do Ignite, I come from a perspective of production and liking to make money and close deals and give awesome service. So that's kind of the perspective that I come from. I have been licensed since 2014, and I work with my husband, who was licensed in 2009. So for those of you that are here and you're thinking, how am I going to do this and make this my full-time job? I'm here to tell you, you can do it. We support our whole household since 2014 on real estate and 100% commission. It's a leap of faith that you take within yourself. So the more that you believe in your abilities to learn and to serve and to grow, the better mindset that you'll have that, yes, you can do this, because it's a big undertaking to jump into real estate. I got my license after coming from more of a corporate world. I worked at Liberty Mutual prior to getting my license. And it's certainly very different when you're working for yourself. So congratulations for making that decision and starting your own small business by becoming a licensed real estate agent. If you have any questions today, I am all about participation and being interrupted. This used to be called the script session, and now it's the Powerful Language Gets Results. But this is about scripting. This is about, the importance of what we say and how we say it. So this is the most perfect opportunity for these Ignite sessions for you guys to jump on and participate in conversation, because that's what today's 3 hours really are all about. And I love cameras on. So if you have, if you're able to put your camera on, I love seeing all of your faces. So certainly feel free to put your cameras on. If you want to raise your hand instead of speaking, you can certainly do that. Make sure that you have your participation guide ready, take some great notes. And, after this session, if you have any direct questions for me, I'm easy to find on Facebook and I'm very approachable. So you're always welcome to reach out to me via Facebook or something like that to get a hold of me.
Yeah, Susan, remind them if they leave their camera on, there's a chance for them to get cake at the break.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We love
We'll have
cake.
cake at the break, but we need your camera on.
We need your camera on. I wish I could give you all a margarita for Cinco de Mayo. I have my pretend margarita here.
I'll be right back.
Right? I start everything with everything that I'm going to need for the next couple hours here. I've got some caffeine and some hydration here. So if you don't have that, go ahead and go grab something and lock yourselves in and get ready to have some fun today. And I'm going to remember, I have two screens. So when I'm looking away, it's just that I'm going to the next slide. And so, awesome job coming to Ignite. Thank you. We're going to have, talks about conversation. The reason that we want to talk about the power of language is because we want to give you guys the ability and the empowerment to have connections with your people, right, at a high level, because that's what they really need from us. How many of you guys are like me, that when I got my license, I thought, I'm just going to put it out there. I have my license and my phone's going to start ringing. Anyone think that?
I was hoping.
Me too. Me too. Well, it doesn't always happen like that, but the more you work on your language and your communication skills, it will start happening. You just have to, we're constantly needing to remind people about what we do in a way that we're connecting with them and at a high level where we're not practicing on them. So the power of language and the power of scripts is so that we script so that we don't practice on our contacts. We're not practicing on our sphere of influence, on expireds or FSBOs or people that we bump into at the grocery store when they say, hey, how's the market? What's happening these days? We don't want to start with and have to think about it. So the purpose of scripts and language and practicing that is so that we have those tools already built into our head, already built into our vocabulary. They're part of us, and we're able to have a meaningful, powerful conversation and connect with people through what we say, because we have a short amount of time to grab their attention. And for success, we need to have conversations to get the appointment. We need to have great, powerful conversations to then get an agreement signed, whether it's a listing agreement, whether it's a buyer agency agreement. We need those tools in our mind and our vocabulary so that we can get the appointment, get those agreements signed, and we do that by practicing. What I love about Ignite and these sessions is that these sessions were built and crafted by agents that have already proven their success. So they went out to our top agents, they found out what do they do to be successful, and that's what you're learning during Ignite. So we don't need to recreate the wheel here. We just need to do what other successful agents have done and do more of that every single day on purpose. So great job on joining Keller Williams so that you get the training, you have coaches, you have Ignite. I'm sure all the market centers are similar to ours where the calendar is just exploding with the opportunities to train and learn. KW is known as being a training company, and we're really great at sharing and promoting our fellow agents to be the very best that they can be. Oh, I love it. We even got a tag team here over here of people. I see a couple people on one screen. That's awesome. So that's what we're doing today. So this slide here really it's in every slide during Ignite. It's one of my favorite slides, because it really talks about, how we break up what successful agents do every day. And right now, you're working on growing your business. And guess what? This left side here of growing your business never, ever goes away, ever. Once you do this and you start getting business, you get to have the privilege of going to the right side of the screen and work on running your business. But growing your business is all about scripts, being a powerful communicator. Winging it is not a good strategy. So growing our business means we need to lead generate for buyers and sellers. And so every single line here, 1 through 4, there are scripts all around that. Scripts are for both sides of growing your business and for running your business. So growing your business looks like we lead generate for buyers and sellers. And this is really something that we do every single day, that we lead generate for buyers and sellers. And we make seller listing presentations and get listings. We need to get those contracts signed. And we make buyer presentations and we get buyer agency agreements signed. So first we're going to be getting the appointments, and then we're by lead generating, and then we're going to work when we're having those appointments. We need to be able to actually get contracts signed. And we need to preview real estate. I'm going to back up to lines 1 and 2 a little bit and talk about the importance of doing the presentations and getting the signatures, because that also builds loyalty. And when I'm doing those presentations myself, you know, we have to remember that when we're learning our business, we're learning it in a language that makes sense to real estate agents, like listing agreements, buyer agency agreements. Those mean nothing to your buyers and sellers. So we need to use language that resonates with them, that builds trust, that builds rapport and relationships with them. So I start, and when I'm going through presentations with buyers and sellers, I call them loyalty agreements, because that's really my goal. So when I'm sitting down with someone, I already have a goal in my head of what my objection is. They don't need to know all about my goals. I just have to have the language and the communication skills to get them there. So we're going to start with loyalty. When we're sitting down at a kitchen table, we're talking about their wants and needs and their motivation, which we're going to get into. But we're really wanting to build some loyalty between us and them. We want them to know that we're loyal to them, and we need to get them to be loyal to us, because there's over 700 agents in our market center alone, let alone all the other agents outside of Keller Williams. I need these people to be loyal to me too. So we need language around that and making them feel like they want to be loyal to us. And then, of course, previewing real estate. Part of what we need to do is be getting into houses and looking at real estate so that we have the knowledge of being able to verbalize what we're looking at. We need to look at properties and real estate differently than how our buyers and sellers are looking at them. And so how are you guys right now able to navigate getting out there to preview real estate? Is anyone able to get out into some homes right now?
So I just learned about broker open houses, or I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right. So I'm actually going to some just regular open houses that are going on this weekend.
Nice. And
I
that's
was the same. I'm like, this is my third week in totally different profession than I've done for the last 20 years. But I reached out to other agents in my market center just to see if I could shadow, because I needed some experience with it. So I've done that. I just messaged another agent to see there's stuff going on the rest of this week and this weekend. So for me at this point, it was just about putting myself out there to see, if I could get in and either shadow or participate in some of the open houses happening.
Yep. That's an awesome way to do that too. I love home inspections. If you guys can get into any home inspections, whew, what a great opportunity to learn there. So offering to either shadow a home inspection is always my favorite way to learn about real estate. Personally, that's one of the ways that I learned a lot about real estate. I'm going to play the girl card and say that my husband does all the maintenance in the house. So looking at systems and knowing the difference between, a hot air or a hot water system, like those were all beyond me, but it's important that we know it, because our peeps are going to be looking to us when we're in a house and they're looking at, what color paint would I put on the walls, or what does the kitchen look like, or can my couch fit in this living room? We need to be looking at that property from a different perspective so that we're bringing value, and then we can communicate that to them. And saying things like, geez, I'm not really sure what that is, sometimes can be okay, but you need to have a lot of the answers too as we're going through and doing that. So that's awesome. Keep getting out there and previewing real estate. Once we navigate and master the growing our business, we get to run our business, which is super fun. And guess what? There's scripts all around this whole side of our business as well, like market to seller listings and show buyers houses. The language that we use while we're doing that will help build confidence with our clients and our customers and our contacts. And the more confidence that they have in you, the faster that they're going to trust you and be led by you, because people want to be led. They want you to be the expert. They might not know that right from the gate, but they really do. They're looking for you to take the reins and guide them through what they, either buying or selling. And when we're coming from a place of, authenticity and contribution and care, and we're backing that up with the right language, then we can really do a great job serving them. And then certainly there's going to be, great opportunities for scripts around negotiating contracts, doing the transaction management of contract to close, vendor management. How we talk to our vendors is super important. Our lenders and our home inspectors, our co-brokes, title companies, attorneys, all of those people, we need to be able to communicate with them and be the best advocates for our clients and contacts that we can be. And, setting your goals and being compliant and cautious of risk management. That's really important. It's important to be compliant and conscious of risk management for yourself and for your buyers and sellers, so that we're always being an advocate for what they're exposing themselves to. And there's certainly a lot to learn around that as well. Whether it's about federal fair housing or disclosures, stuff like that, we have to get them through that with the right language so that they know that we're protecting them and we're on their side. And when we're running our business, we attend training and get coaching. That piece never goes away. We're constantly honing our skills and learning more. And the more we learn and train, the better we are for our customers and clients. And then we need to manage our money, which is really important, because you can have a lot of transactions and at the end of the month, you can still not have money for going out to dinner or taking your family on vacation if you're not managing your money correctly. So that's a really big, important piece of running your business, is also getting some training and coaching around, what do I do with those commission checks? We don't just cash them and just put them in our checking account and spend them. We have a lot of bills that might be associated with that, and savings and goals and plans that we want to do for our money. And so we're going to focus on, that whole left side, the showing buyer houses, the negotiating contracts, transaction management to closing, and having conversations around them. So when you get serious about the conversations you have, you'll get results faster. So that's the goal, right? For Spark, for these Spark sessions, our goal is for you guys to set appointments. So the more serious you get about the conversations that you have, the faster you'll get results for getting your appointments. And the speed level of trust will increase. So when you're better at conversations, your people will trust you more. And, they might be kind of closed when you first start talking to them, but as you're offering value, as you're listening, you'll see that open up and you'll see that trust level begin to grow. And then you'll have more scripts built inside of your head, so that as you work on getting them to open up, you'll then work on, what do I do next? What do I say next? How do I build value into their lives through the conversations that I create, that we can now speed up the process of now getting them to sign a listing agreement or a buyer agency agreement, and then getting to, getting under contract and the whole process, because really it's a 90-day cycle, right? If we're starting today with talking to people and getting them signed, we now have to get them under contract and get to the closing table. And from point A to closing table where you get a paycheck can be 90 days. So the scripts and the words that you say and practicing and getting really on purpose about that will help speed that process up so that you can be making some money. What you say and also how you say it. So we're going to talk about how you say things, your energy, your tonality, your body language. All of those things play a big piece into how you communicate and have conversations. So today, this is our roadmap here for today, and the purpose of scripts is really, it's all about the power of practice. Is anybody right now practicing scripts? Has anyone engaged yet in script partners or anything like that? Or is this really the beginning for you?
I have a script partner.
You do? Fantastic. How's that going?
It's going good. We kind of had to take a little break just because I'm transitioning now to full-time real estate. So I'm trying to figure out my schedule and when I could really uh do scripts with her because she lives in Denver, so it's a 2-hour difference. So we're trying to figure that out. But I'm also looking for new partners. That way I'm not trying to figure out the timing and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, that's important too, when you're getting a script partner, that you have an actual schedule. And it's not, everything's here is about being on purpose, right? So if you're like, yeah, we'll script when we have time.
Yeah, Susan, I was going to say, I love that Anthony has somebody in Denver. At the same time, I think just to make it a little less confusing, getting somebody on the Eastern Seaboard is pretty important. I love that. Obviously, I don't think that person in Denver is in your market center, right, Anthony? Correct. So that's good. I think if you have somebody who's too close to you and you have an interpersonal relationship, you start to let each other off the hook.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, we went out last night. It was Cinco de Drinko. She had 15 margaritas. I won't bug her today. We're supposed to be their accountability buddy, right? We're supposed to keep them on the hook to make them move forward or help them move forward. I think a great tool for that for you guys, if you're not plugged into James Shaw in the morning, the pivotshiftcall.com, that at 8 o'clock, you'll see a lot of faces. And there's people from all over our company on that call. And you'll figure out who's on the Eastern Seaboard. And I think finding somebody in another market center at your production level, arguably maybe a little bit ahead of you, if you want to play good golf, play with better golfers, if you want to improve your game, and just having that person. I think if you have multiple people is a good thing too, Anthony, because you guys will outgrow each other. Or you'll just realize that her motivation is not matching yours. And if you're the smartest person at the table, change tables, right?
Yep.
Thank you for the advice, Timothy.
I am noticing a couple of quick questions back here in regards to the home inspections. In this situation, you need to schedule the home inspections after signing the PNS. Do you have a mentor or a coach? And if you're looking for home inspections, look to other agents in your market center. Keller Williams agents want to help other Keller Williams agents. So we are opening up the ability to get in and out of houses. I know there's still some COVID precautions in place, but some of those are lightening up. And if you just get permission to go, you can be a silent person walking around that home inspection. I have done that for agents. I just explained if I'm representing the seller, I just explained to the buyer's agent and the buyer that, I have an agent with me that's just here to learn. They're just going to be walking around and doing some learning through the home inspection. Let people know what you're doing, and they'll be more open to that other person being there. So if you put it out there to other folks that you're looking to do that, then you should get some hits on that. The one thing I would say, if you are looking to tag on to what a producing agent is doing, please don't send them an email saying, hey, if you have a home inspection, can I go? Because I get those and I do this, delete. Pick up the phone and call me, build rapport with me, because we're having conversations, right? We're having conversations with our buyers and sellers. You need to have conversations with your agents as well. So if you want agents to help you, then you need to reach out to them in a meaningful, powerful way. Just like everything else that we do in our business, pick up the phone, call them, build a relationship with those folks, and ask for the help. And how do you find a script partner? Through your market center, through other trainings, through the James Shaw. Like you never know where you're going to find someone. You just have to keep putting yourself out there. You can also utilize your team leaders and your coaches, let them know what you're trying to do, that you are on purpose about it. And keep asking until you get an answer. So looking for a script partner is just like lead gen, right? You get a lot of no's, and then you'll get a yes. Every no gets you closer to a yes. So if you put it out there a few times looking for a script partner and you don't get one, keep at it. If it's important to you, keep looking for that person. And if the person you find isn't the right one, keep moving on and have that scheduled time to talk to them. And we'll talk more about that too as we move through these slides. On your drive into work, you're in the car, that's a great time to do it. And be on purpose about actually scripting when you talk to those people. It doesn't matter how their morning was, whether they had their coffee, if their kids got off to school, you call, you jump right into whatever that script topic is that you're going to do. It can be 15 minutes, but it could be one of the most impactful 15 minutes of your day. And it will help set you up for jumping into the office or wherever your office is, whether it's at home or someplace else, it will jump you into getting into that mindset of, okay, now I'm getting on the phone. I'm going to be doing my lead generation. So the purpose of scripts, we're going to talk about limiting beliefs. We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to be empowering you to have better conversations. I think that one thing about scripts that can be a challenge is the mindset and how you look at it. Scripts are not about tricking people. They're not about, being pretend. It's really about giving you the tools to be more authentic and be a better communicator. It's about preparing yourself to have high level conversations and really come from a servant perspective in your mind and in your conversations. So that's going to be the first thing that we talk about is the purpose of scripts. Why are we scripting? Well, we're scripting because people want to be led. They want to be led by people that they have confidence in. That confidence starts with you. So when you're speaking to people, if you're not giving them the ability to be confident in you, the likelihood of success starts diminishing. So we script so that we can be better leaders, so that we can serve, and to help. And it means that you have to understand them. So we script so that we have the ability to pull information out of the people that we're talking to so that we can better understand them, so that we can have more tools to find out what their motivation is. They might think that they want this whole set of A, and when we are able to have high level conversations with them about their motivation, they might really be better served by looking at B, and we need to be able to communicate that to them, and we need to learn about them. We need to find out what's going on with their situation. Like you're talking to someone and they're like, you know what, I really want to move to the coast of Maine. Great, I can go online and look for some properties in Maine for you. But you really want to find out, well, what's important about Maine? What's in Maine? How quickly do you need to get to Maine? What will your world look like if you don't get to Maine? When you can learn about what is motivating them, then we can really start serving them, and we can really start leading them down the path to get them where they want to go, because it's really all about them. Scripting is so that you can learn how to be all about them. And it's about controlling those conversations. Whoever controls the conversation is in control from the beginning. And we need to be the ones in control, and we need to do that from a place of authenticity. And how are we going to do that? Scripts help you with that, and scripts help you so that you can be a better listener. And being a better listener is really important, because I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but if you're talking to someone about, they want to move or they want to list or they want to sell, if you haven't practiced different avenues of how to lead the conversation, I'm focusing on what is the next thing I'm going to say. This conversation is not about me. This conversation is about them. But if I haven't tooled up to learn about what I'm going to be saying and how I'm going to lead them, then my brain doesn't have the capacity to listen to their motivation. So when they're saying, I need to get to the coast of Maine, and I haven't practiced how to dig into their motivation, I'm thinking, how do I find a property in Maine on the beach for $200,000, which isn't going to happen. So I need conversations built into my head about steering them around that. Does that happen to anybody?
So actually right now, I reconnected with an old friend, and I'm actually working on trying to figure out their motivation. Because they did say that they wanted to buy a property, and they say they already have a deposit, or they have the funds for a deposit. I just got to figure out exactly their motivation.
Yeah, and how do you do that?
So I actually have a script that I've been practicing, and it was technically for expireds, but some of the questions I'm actually transitioning into just figuring out motivation. And I'm just trying to figure out, where do they want to end up, why they want to get there, by when do they want to get there? I feel like those 3 questions right there could reveal a lot from their motivation.
Absolutely. Good for you. I'm so happy, Anthony, to hear that you're doing that and that you're practicing. The practicing part is so important because you practiced it for expireds and now it's already in your head and you're talking to somebody that isn't an expired and you know to pull that out, right, of your toolbox.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And why do we script for it? It is to uncover motivations. The motivation is one of the most powerful pieces when you are speaking to a contact, a customer, a client. If you don't know their motivation, you could be not delivering great value because you're not giving them what they need at the time that they need it. You need to meet them where they're at. Here's a great example. I'd love to move to the beach, or I'd love to move to Florida. And then you start immediately trying to figure out ways to make that happen. But then if you uncover their motivation and they're like, yeah, I'd like to sell and move to Florida. And if you don't find out what is important about Florida, what's important about their timeline, you start asking those questions and they're like, yeah, it's important to me, but if it doesn't happen for 5 years, I'm okay. Oh my gosh, that's kind of really important to know right now, because I could be spending all these hours on thinking you need to get to Florida within the next 6 months when really this is a 5-year plan for them. And we need to leverage our time and spend the right amount of time with the people that we're communicating with, so that as we have more and more people in our pipeline of leads, that we're giving our A leads this much attention, and we're giving our C leads this much attention. We're still giving them attention and we're giving them value, and we're authentic about that. But uncovering their motivations and those scripts around that will help you to manage your calendar. Because your calendar, if it's not busy right now, strap on, it's going to get busy. It's going to get busy. We need to uncover objections, because people don't tell us their objections. Not all of them. Some of them will, right up front. You need to know what the objections are. Yeah, I just don't, you know what? I'm not going to pay you a 6% commission. I don't want to pay commission at all. Well, if you don't know that and you don't uncover that objection, then that objection is still in their head after you hang up the phone. And until it gets addressed, you're not going to be able to move that down the road. You're not going to be able to overcome that. You're not going to know what piece of value you need to pull out and show to them and lead them and build confidence in if you haven't uncovered the objection. Or, I'd love to sell, but I'm afraid to buy because it's so hard to buy right now. You have to ask the right questions in order to be able to help them get past those objections. Are you guys finding like a hard time getting objections, or are you afraid of the objection? Like, how am I going to handle the objection once they tell it to me?
I guess I'm learning that I don't dig deep enough. So I think scripting is where that's going to come in, to learn the questions to ask to get the deeper information.
Absolutely, Brooke.
Yeah, I feel like objections is one of my fears of even calling, because I don't know what I'm going to say to respond, to answer their question. So I'm afraid that I'm not going to have the answer for them.
Yep. That's valid. I totally get that.
Well, here's the good news, Susan. When you're having conversations now as a Wiley veteran, does it stand to reason that today you or your husband John could run into a question that you can't answer? This is where you say yes.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right.
It does. And you know what? People want you to be authentic. And if you don't know the answer, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because guess what, Tim? I can get that information for you. I know that there's a lot around that particular topic, but I can get that information for you. And I'm going to be able to call you back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Will that work for you?
Sounds great. And this is what Erin and I are always having conversations with our agents at Market Center 463 is, I want you to get really good at never saying, I don't know, I'll find out. Stop saying that. Just stop saying, I don't know, I'll find out. Get really good at saying, great question, Erin. Let me look into that for you, right? Because I'm edifying you. I'm telling you, you're wicked smart. And yeah, you're never going to have all the answers. And the sooner we embrace the fact that I'm going to be the connective tissue of my loved ones and the real estate industry, you're going to be at ease. A book we talk about all the time that Aaron and I are always talking about. I'm going to ruin his name. Good Irishman. His name is Jia Zhang. Right? I got it. Aaron's like, oh, wow, he didn't screw it up.
Nailed it.
Jia Zhang. It's called Rejection Proof. And the crux of the book is that when you are getting the no, to what I'm going to get your name wrong. Is it Atanas? Did you say Atanas? I don't know. She said her name. I'm saying it wrong. She's ignoring me now. That's fine.
No, I'm not. Said it right. You
Oh, look
First
at that. Look at that.
proud of you.
I'll take spelling for 500, Alex. Anyway, so that being said, when we're getting that rejection, we have to remember the rejection is 95% of the time not about us. It's about a circumstance they have in the back of their head that we haven't asked the question to uncover yet. So like we always say here, ask great questions. And then our agents ask Aaron and I, well, what's a great question, Tim? What's a great question, Aaron? The next question. Keep peeling that onion to uncover their motivation. We're never going to show up with a bucket of motivation, be like, here, take some of this. We have to find out what their motivation truly is by asking great questions. That's our job.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And if you don't know the answer and you let them know that you're going to get that, you still follow it up with another question like, well, tell me more about that. Why is that important to you?
So yesterday I was in a Mike Lipsy training class and he recommended starting a questions book. So anytime someone says to you, oh, that's a great question, write it down. So that way you can start to develop patterns and kind of know what to ask. And he also recommended to always go for the open-ended questions instead of the closed-ended questions, just because you'll gather more information and make it feel less like an interrogation.
Mm. Yeah,
So I
well,
thought those
absolutely.
were good tips.
Yeah, if I say to Erin, Erin, do you like my face? She's going to say no. More important is,
Always.
Erin, what about my face would you like to see change? Right?
I feel like you need red
We don't have time. We don't have
glasses.
time for that. But yes, great point, Laura. We want to ask exploratory questions, not red light, green light questions. But okay, here's a fork in the road on the map. Which way are we going? Right.
Yeah, well, that's Susan's question. Why is that important to you? That's like burn that one into your memory because that's a really, you can use that. You can apply that in so many ways. Why is that important? What does that mean for you? How is that going to change things for you? You know.
And Carlos, I see you asked, how did you phrase that again? I'm going to encourage and challenge you. The next question that you have to open up your mic and let me hear your voice. And I'm just picking on you because I know you.
I have a question.
Sorry, Carlos, but he asked, how do you phrase that again? The great question one. It's a great question. Let me get more information for you around that.
Thank you.
That's how you'd phrase that. And then why is that important to you? And and because you also want to make, if you don't know the answer, you want to make sure you understand the question. You want to answer it correctly. You want to find the right resources. And then you want to, when you get that information and you're able to give that back to them, you want to be able to answer the next question for them. So if you have more of a complete topic around what they're, explore why they're asking that, explore what their motivation is around that, then when you go back and you deliver the information to them, you now over deliver more information that can also maybe uncover other things, because they might say, here's my question. You have to go back and get the answer. They're going to follow it up probably with another question around that topic. So go get a whole bunch of information around that so that you can then have a high level conversation and high level communication and be more of a powerful impact. That will build trust. Sorry, go ahead. Somebody had something.
Is there a thing as too many questions? Like, because sometimes I know when I get going, like I'll start rambling and I'll just start talking, and then all of a sudden I realize that, can you ask too many questions and then possibly lose someone?
Well, this is where my this is where my maps coach would say, land the plane, Timothy.
Yeah,
right. You know, so when you've had a great conversation, and the next logical step is to set the appointment. Our job is to get our face to the kitchen table, right? Then I can save the rest of those questions for when I'm in person. It's about nurturing the relationship. So when the time feels right, and you're going to misjudge this as you get started, and when the time feels right, it's never a wrong time to set the appointment, by the way. But when you feel like you've created enough rapport that the next logical question is tomorrow at 3 or Friday at 4, right? That's, no, you can never ask too many questions. Everybody's favorite topic is them. Everyone's favorite radio station is WIFM. What's in it for me, right? When do I get to talk about me, right? So if we're asking them questions, they get to talk about them. Super important.
Yep. So when you're talking to anybody, you should be having a goal. And if it's to be setting the appointment, then you need to have language built into your conversations on getting that appointment. And if they're not giving it to you the first time that you ask for it, you keep revisiting that to get the appointment. Because it's great to have conversations, but if we don't have results from them, all we were doing was having a really nice chat. And I want you guys to have great conversations, but I want you to have great results too. So when we are speaking to someone, we have to know that what is our goal here? Our goal is to get an appointment. I don't spend 40 minutes on the phone with someone getting the appointment. You need to ask the right amount of questions and then be asking for the appointment so that you can then take it to the next level, because you get the appointment and then you really want to get that agency agreement signed. So have those goals in mind, because it can be really fun talking to people about real estate. But if they take up an hour of your time and you have 10 contacts to make today, could be a late night for you. And people do want to be led. People do want to be led.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Please
All
do,
right.
Maureen.
All right, thank you. Hey, this is when the conversations that I've been having lately about real estate, and there are people interested in selling, but the statement they're saying is, but I think it'd be too difficult to purchase a home. There's not much inventory. And so that's a real concern for them. What would be a good answer or reply to that?
You know what, Maureen? I never leave anyone homeless. I never leave anybody homeless. But what is your motivate? You want to dig into their motivation. What's important about getting to Florida for you? I can help you do that. I never leave anybody homeless. What's really great about some of the strategies that I employ is that I work really closely with all of my co-brokes. And that could be the co-broke whoever's going to be representing someone to purchase your home, and for the home that you're going to be selling. So we're going to work together with the other agents on the other side of the table to make sure that you're getting the most money for your home, and that we don't leave you homeless, and that you're getting put into the home that really is the home of your dreams that will get you to where you need to be. Does that sound good to you, Maureen?
Yeah, that sounds great.
And you know
I
why
love
that's
that.
silky smooth? Because she does this every day, all day, every day, all day. Right. So as soon as you guys get really comfortable just having these conversations, yeah, Kenyon team, great marketing piece. 0% of our clients live in the woods, right? And it's because the magnitude of a civilian thinking, oh my God, we've got to find a house on planet Earth. We have to slow that down. Mr. Lindsay, here's the great news. When you're about to put your house on the market, right? Think of Gary with the domino analogy, right? When the Lindsays raise their hand and say, we're going to put our house on the market, it's like that Gopher game at the arcade that nobody goes to because of COVID-19. But anyway, yeah, like somebody else's head is going to pop up and be like, oh, that's the kind of house we've been looking for. And this is where we have to reverse engineer our greatness as agents. The question that I know Susan has asked, that great agents ask all the time is, well, Mr. Lindsay, you and your family are just looking for one home, right? And really in this conversation, in this current environment that we're in the last 16 months, because the client is thinking, we have to check all these houses. We're looking for one home. And after we have a great conversation, me and my team will find that for you, right? And really drilling it down. It's the same way when you ask, it's the reason we go to categories when we're asking people, who do they know that we should know? And people say, so if I knew Maureen, if you had short people that played soccer, if you belong to a certain church, I'm going to ask, who do you know from soccer or your parish that's looking to buy or sell? Because now you're not trying to Rolodex the entire planet's faces. You're thinking of certain names and faces in those environments. And you're like, oh my God, John was just talking about a condo. So as soon as we can shrink the environment that they're trying to think about, well, Mr. Lindsay, here's the good news. We're going to sell your house to one family, and we're going to go find one house for your family. Let's get started tomorrow at 3 or Friday at 4, right? We just keep bringing it back to setting the appointment. And Ben Kinney, probably the best objection handler that I've ever heard. His team says it all the time. When I say to Susan, yeah, we were going to get started, but we don't even know where to start. We're afraid of the economy. Whatever they insert as their concern or their circumstance, that's exactly why we should get together, Tim. No matter what they say. We wanted to buy a house this week and my leg's on fire. That's exactly why we should get together tomorrow at 3 or Friday at 5. because you're just going to sit down and start to be the expert in the conversation. That's our job, right?
Can I just add really quickly to that? Just for all of you who are wondering if this is a unique objection, it's not. So this is a typical objection in all markets. So don't believe the story in your head or the story that clients are telling you that this is unique to the market right now. Every seller is fearful about where their next home is going to be, and that's one of the most common objections. So even before this market that we're in right now. So I just wanted to put that out there because so really master your language around that, because you will face that objection your entire career.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How would you handle though that seller saying, yeah, you know, houses are selling in a day or two. What's going to happen when mine sells right away and we haven't found something for me and there's only 10 houses in this area on the market? How would you handle that?
Oh, I'm so happy that you let me know that that's a concern for you. We don't leave anyone homeless, and we build things into your contract. I protect you every step of the way. So once we find the right buyer at the right price and everything looks good for you, we find someone that will wait until we have you under contract to purchase your home. And we work closely with them. Part of my skill is that I bring people together, and I'm a team builder. So we're going to build a team with the people on the other side to make sure that they understand that we're aggressively looking for the right home for you, and we'll make that happen.
Susan Kenyon's available for bat mitzvahs and birthday
Nailed
parties, by
it,
the way.
Susan.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
So then the other thing too, guys, right now, if we really want to quell that concern from our prospective client and that future seller, when you are going out right now, like if Erin and her family are looking for a house, or Laura and her family are looking for a house, if I'm out ahead of the curve, because we keep hearing, what do you guys keep hearing on the news, in the hallways at your market centers? There's no inventory. That is a bold-faced lie. As you drive down your street and you pass all of those driveways, what is at the end of each driveway? Inventory. We just have to bring it to market. That is our job, right? So if Adrian is out knocking on a door, what town do you live in, Adrian?
I'm in Portland, Maine.
He's in beautiful downtown Portland. If he's out knocking on a door saying, hey, because you had your buyers do some homework, right?
Yeah.
And they picked 123 Oak Street. So now you're knocking on 123 Oak Street. Susan Kenyon comes to the door. Hi, Mrs. Kenyon. My name's Adrian. I'm with Keller Williams Coastal Lakes and Mountains, or Keller Williams in general. And I've got some buyers that would like to move into your house. Are you interested in moving in the next 10, 20, or 30 minutes? Right. And I would ask it just that way to figure out what their motivation is, like Susan said, because if they want to move to Miami in 12 years, you're not really on my bucket list for today. Right.
Yeah.
What's probably going to come out of their face next is, well, yeah, we consider it. It seems like a great time to do that. Our concern is, where are we going to move?
Yeah.
Great question. Great question, Mrs. Kenyon. Here's what we're going to do. I'm privately, quietly knocking on your door to create inventory for my current clients, and I can do that for you as well. Where do you guys
Funny
think
you said that? We actually literally just did that for a buyer the other day, and we got a listing out of it, so it worked.
Amen, brother. Like that is our job. If we have a lot, Erin and I hear this from our agents all the time. Susan runs an awesome team. She's hearing it from the agents on her team. I hear agents all the time. And if you hear yourself saying this to yourself, I want you to politely punch yourself in the face. Okay. Said with love. When you say, I'm working with a ton of buyers, are we working with buyers or waiting with them? Right? Are you waiting for someone else to create the inventory, or are you going to go create it for yourself? That's where the rubber meets the road right now. And if we can create the inventory, and you guys are doing that, right? Keller Williams leads the country right now in inventory created. Keep it up, because it's not, we can wait. Other brokerages are waiting. And you know what you do when you create the inventory. Susan Kenyon knows this. You get to pick your zip code, pick your price point, pick your commission. You're in charge of it, right? If you have buyers, you're making money. If you have listings, you're creating profitability. And that's what we want for you guys.
But the scripts are what's important, so that when they say those things, that you're able to regurgitate a really comprehensive thought that will help move this down the road as in a quick manner. Those scripts will help you to be able to just respond to them authentically. And scripts are great for closing deals too, because you have to close them, right? You have to close the listing agreement, the buyer agency agreement, the purchase and sales agreement, the appointment. You have to be able to be strong, confident. They have to feel that from you before they're going to want to move forward with you. Scripts will help you do that. And you need to speak in terms that the customer understands. So we're not using our acronyms here. We're using language that resonates with them. They don't get the acronyms. It's our job to translate what we need to communicate in their language. And that will also help build confidence, because if you're using Realtor Talk or KW Talk, they're going to glaze over and they're going to have an objection about that they're probably not going to tell you. And using their language will help build confidence. So the scripts will help build your confidence. Scripts are for all of these pieces of the big picture, but the script too, remember, you have scripts that run and play in your own head. So if your script is, oh my God, I have to make these calls and they're going to have objections, I'm not going to know how to handle that. Guess what? You just negatively scripted yourself. So script yourself in a positive way. I can do this. I am here to help people. They're lucky to work with me. I mean, I say these things to myself because I believe it and because I want to give great service. If I don't believe it about myself, they're not going to believe it about me. So the scripts that you run in your own head are also important. And we're going to talk about that when we get to mindset.
Susan, Sheena has a question.
Hi, Sheena.
Hello. Sorry if this has been asked already, but I wanted to know if creating some type of sense of urgency could also help, or if you guys try to stay away from that. Maybe saying something like, I don't know how long it's going to be a seller's market, how long we'll be able to get you a great price for your home.
Yes and no. Great question, Sheena. Thank you for asking it. I always want to speak in terms of them and what's happening right now, because our market, Sheena, can change tomorrow. That's the way that real estate works. But today, we're seeing a lot of buyers that would be interested in a home like yours. So today we can get you an awesome price for your home in a very quick timeline. If a quick timeline is in your best interest, tell me more about why you want to sell, where you want to go. What is the timeline that works for you? So the more you learn about them, then I don't want to pressure someone to say, the market could change if you don't list with me today. I don't know if I'm going to get you the same amount of money, because money is not always the motivator. If money's their motivator, then that's what you hone in on. If waiting until September when their kids go back to school is the motivator, or we have older parents that we have to take care, what is their motivation? That will lead you to what you have to be urgent about. It's not always the money.
Yeah, think about how we all felt when COVID started a year ago, March, right? We all thought the worm was going to turn like the very next day. Gary got on with all of us and said, whatever your goals were, chances are they probably just got adjusted. And then we went into this carnival ride that is the market that we're currently in, right? So our questions are in place to help our clients determine what success means for them, to Susan's point. I'm not going to try to use, it's funny because we'll always say, well, I don't want to call people I know and love and trust because I don't want to come across as salesy or smarmy. So the last thing we always want to use is use disingenuous language to try to create some false excitement for them that is going to make them make a move when they ultimately didn't want to. So to Sheena, to your question, I think the best thing to do is to speak about, as Susan said, our job is to sit with them as market professionals and help interpret the marketplace for them. And when I can talk about what we know today, it's very true. What if interest rates spike 1% tomorrow? That changes the universe for a lot of our buyers and sellers for that matter. So we just want to talk about the opportunity right now. If they start talking about, well, we're going to wait for the market. Well, what's important about waiting for the market? And that's where we probably want to use what more than why. If you ask the question to yourself before you ask it to the client, sometimes using why is accusational and what comes across more as exploratory. Well, why would you wait till next week? That sounds like you're about to say stupid, right? Where what's important about waiting for next week, So if they are trying to push it off, all we want to do is uncover their motivation, because maybe they truly, to Susan's point, it's not the money they're going to garner. It's about an emotional or it's about a time frame for them that's important to their family and their loved ones. So we just want to be careful with our language. We want to be guides. We want to be consultants. We're not trying to be snake oil salesmen.
Yep, absolutely. All right. we are going to move on to the next slide, which is understanding scripts. You know, the purpose here is, you know, we want to uncover their motivation. We want to ask great questions. We want to ask them well so that they feel your authenticity, because we always want it to be about them. And then we want to listen carefully, because listening carefully creates opportunity for more engagement when we really listen. And that kind of goes to, is it price, or is it location, or is it timing? Or is it, you know, family upsizing, family downsizing, second homes, you know, what is it? So when we ask great questions and we ask them well, and we listen carefully, we can do a really great service for these folks. So here are some questions for you to start thinking about. Did you find everything that you were looking for? These are great. That's a great question, because it's like inquisition. It's an opportunity for service. Did you find everything that you were looking for? And these questions are kind of a way for you to start thinking about how to ask questions. What will these types of questions get for you? Go ahead, look around, and please let me know if I can help. It's not a direct question. It's an open-ended question, but it gives them a chance to feel comfortable. So we want to, you know, this is a sales job, people. You know, if you don't think that you're in sales and you're a real estate agent, stop now. Rethink that. This is a sales job. We sell real estate. That's how we make money, but we're not salesy. You know, we're authentic. So when you ask questions like, go ahead and look around, let me know if I can help you, we're kind of letting the pressure off a little bit. We want to script and ask questions to get direct answers for sure, but we also want to give people room to breathe. We also want to give a chance to understand them at a deeper level. I want them to see that I care. I want them to see my kindness. So a question like, go ahead, look around, let me know if I can help. You know, if you go into a furniture store and they just jump right on you, like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And then you go into a different store and they're like, well, take a look around. Let me know if I can help you. It eases, you know, which one of those can feel better, right? So we want to give the opportunity to show people that we care and that we're kind, and that it really is about them. I see you admiring that big screen TV. Are you looking to get one for the big game this weekend? That's you know, that is a question that creates another question, a question. So sometimes scripts are so that we can lead someone down a path, and it lets you do it comfortably. So I was watching a training, and they said, you know, if you're not scripting and you're asking a question and you're being weird because you didn't practice asking it, you're being weird. And then how is that other person going to respond? They're going to be weird. And now you have two weirdos talking to each other. You're not going to get a listing agreement signed like that. You're not going to get an appointment set by that. So you need to practice your scripts so that you're not being weird or awkward, because as soon as you sound weird or awkward, they're going to answer you feeling weird and awkward. And that's not a great strategy either, being two weirdos in a room. And you can't do this when you're worried about what they're going to say. So if you have these questions that you know that you want to have answered, you have to practice asking them. You have to practice leading the conversation without being worried about what they're going to say. So I already have to have kind of a bunch of playbooks in my head. And that's really what scripts are about. It's about creating a natural exchange of questions so that you can control the opportunities. And scripting, for me, I always think about it in the way that it helps me to be a better listener, and then it helps me to serve, because I'm here to serve my clients. I really, truly want the best for them. And I can get the best for them when I've done my job of practicing and training and scripting. Does anyone have any questions around that? Does that make sense? Okay.
Susan, you do have a hand up. Sheena has her hand up.
Oh, Sheena, how are you?
Good, thank you. Sorry about that. I think I forgot to lower it after my last question.
Oh, that's okay. That's quite all right.
Okay.
No worries. And thanks, Erin, because I can see the hand up, but it didn't.
It's a lot to pay attention to. That's why we're here for you.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I love this next piece. This is all about limiting beliefs that we're going to be moving into. And, I have limiting beliefs. Oops, where am I? Removing your limiting beliefs. Okay. Who has a limiting belief? Are you familiar with limiting beliefs? It's your self-talk in your head. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, sometimes I think, why would they hire myself when there's seasoned agents? But then I have many other seasoned agents saying you have to sort of encourage them and let them know that you'll be there for them and support them, which, and that eliminates a limiting belief, but then it kind of rolls into another one.
Yeah, absolutely. And how can limiting that hold you back, right? How can a limiting belief hold you back? Can prevent you from making that next call?
Yes.
Right. So, there's things that you can do to counter your limiting beliefs, like affirmations. Like before you're getting on, everyone has their different mojo, their own vibe. I like loud music, but I don't like heavy metal. So I work in the same office as my husband, and he's going to put on, one of those heavy metal bands that I can't stand, like Motley Crue or something. Sorry if we have Motley Crue fans out there. I'm going to want
The irony that John's into hair bands.
Oh my God, he has no
I'll
hair.
let everybody on the call look up John Kenyon so they can see what I'm talking about. Yeah.
He is so into those. But, I'm going to put on the Black Eyed Peas or something like that. And I want it loud and I want the energy flowing. And that gets me kind of pumped up. Some people might want meditation. What is it for you? Identify that. Spend some time thinking about it. What is it that's going to put you in the right mindset? I'm a sticky note person. I have them here even today on my notes to talk to you guys about. I put them on my monitor. I change them up, and sometimes it could be a script like, why is that important to you? If that's a one-liner script that you want to remember, put it on a sticky note, put it on your monitor. And every time you're on a call, it's going to be right there in your face. You're not going to, actually, I can. I love that. I love that. But affirmations are important, and they work when you say them every day. So I do say things to myself every day, like, I'm going to get an appointment today. I'm going to get a listing agreement signed today. I'm going to get that buyer under contract today. I am really good at what I do. I serve my clients. My clients are lucky to work with me. I'm here to help. I'm going to close that deal. I'm a very professional real estate agent. I'm a kind person. I look great today. I'm going to nail it. I'm in a great mood. Now I'm ready to get on the phone, and I'm changing my limiting beliefs. There isn't an objection that I can't handle today. I'm here to offer value. Who wouldn't want to talk to me? You can start reducing your limiting beliefs. A limiting belief will hold you back. So I want you guys to spend a little bit of time right now, start thinking about what's held you back from making calls. Write something down, 1, 2, or 3. What has held you back from making calls? And I'll keep talking to give you guys a chance to think about that, but this is a great opportunity. We're talking about conversations and what's holding us back. What is holding you back right now from making a call? And who are you being held back from? Is it your sphere, or who are you afraid to call? Anybody have one?
So one of my limiting beliefs, and I'm sorry if I sound very quiet, I just walked into the bookstore. But one of mine is pretty much, I feel that I'm going to be annoying when I call them, or I'm calling them during their shifts at work.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. So then you have to kind of counter that with, they're going to be happy to hear from me. And if they can't talk to me right now, I'm going to find out when they can. It's okay if they can't talk to me right now. They need to know that I'm reaching out to them with care. But that is a limiting belief that I know you can overcome.
So I have one. So with my sphere in particular, so a lot of the people in my sphere I haven't talked to in a long time. And I've just found that trouble of calling them and maybe leaving like a voicemail, being like, hey, I just want to catch up and see how you're doing. And then like sending up like a follow-up text later on, just being like checking in, and they're just not responding to me.
So your limiting belief is that you don't think you're going to get responded to?
Maybe that's what it is before going into it, because I just haven't talked to them in a long time. And I think I still have that like sense in my head of like, I want to be genuine, and like I am in real estate. So like I am checking in on them, but I'm also like wanting to see if they know anybody that is looking to buy or sell, or if they are themselves. So maybe like I put that in my head beforehand.
Yeah, I know. Our self-talk can be kind of tough sometimes.
Yeah. And like, so right away, like I think with that, it's just like my sphere, I feel like I'm having the most trouble with. Like I feel like I'm having an easier time reaching out to strangers than the people I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that, because it's like you don't want to feel like you're bugging them.
Exactly.
Are you bugging them, Nina?
No.
You're not. And it's okay if they're busy when you call them.
Mhm.
You know, I bet that when they hear a happy voice on the other end of the phone, even if they're busy, even if they don't know, even if they're not ready to transact, you can brighten someone's day.
Yeah.
You know, when you are at the grocery store and you run into someone that you know, or a perfect stranger, and you're greeting them with a smile and a friendly face and a friendly voice, you pass that on to them.
Yeah.
And you just have to believe that, you know, keep doing it until it feels like you're not doing that. So
Exactly.
if that is your limiting belief, then focus on that. Say, that's my limiting belief. Then I'm going to spend this week on my lead gen overcoming that limiting belief.
Yeah.
So my question is, do you think there's anything wrong with texting a bunch of people? Not a group text, but for me, I feel more comfortable being in front of somebody, talking to them, looking them in the eye. So I've sent text messages to people, say, hey, how you doing? Can we talk later on at, whatever, when you get out of work or whatever it is? And I really want to go meet somebody, especially if I haven't seen him in a few weeks or whatever it is. It's a good excuse. But I feel more comfortable, because I think the text thing in my head it's not really, I don't know, it's easy for someone to blow me off. We get a gazillion texts a day, right? And you look through, I didn't answer that person back, and you hit delete or whatever it is. I mean, what do you think? Is my strategy wanting to be in front of someone a good thing to do?
Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. And I love that you asked that question, because communication is so awesome on all different platforms. You have to learn what people's love language is, and you have to figure out when is the right time to call, when is the right time to text, when is the right time to message. A lot of people are resonating with Facebook messages more than phone calls right now. And there are some types of communication that are more effective with a phone call. There are some that are more effective with a message. If you're feeling like, and the problem with the text, if you're just reaching out and you haven't talked to them in a while, you don't have this thing back and forth going, it's a little cold, in my opinion. But if that's how you think their love language is, and you're not getting them by phone, send them a video text. Hey, it's Susan. I really wanted to connect with you. Do you have a few minutes this week? I hope you guys are doing great. Bye. There are ways that you can kind of try to get in front of them. If you're doing one thing and it's not working, mix it up. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Levi. Probably a delivery or something. He'll quiet down. So that's what I would say to that. And one thing I'm a big advocate for getting on the phone. I do think that a lot of people hide behind email and text when you're, but when you're having conversations are two-way. It can be a text two-way, once it becomes a two-way communication, now it's a conversation, whether it's a Facebook message or a text or a phone call. So if it depends on what your goal is. If you're really just reaching out to people to say hi, then a text might be it for you. But within your goal for that day, you need to get people on the phone or in some type of two-way communication. And I would say I loved it when I heard you say, I'm comfortable with this. Do what you're not uncomfortable with. Like, find ways that the limiting belief or the uncomfortable part might work for you too. And I would say mix it up. Mix up some things and some forms of communication and figure out what's working for those people. Then write that in Command or whatever database you're using. So the next time you're communicating with them, you know what their love language is. And then have a goal in there for what you want from that communication with that person the next time.
Susan, I have a question.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I sure can, Grace.
Oh, anyways, this is my first question and it's my third day on the job. Anyways, I have a situation where I have an old friend that I know that she's interested, but I haven't really reached out to her for a while. And now I feel like, okay, if I, she might come across and say, now that she's in real estate, she's going to reach out to me. So how do I go around that to get comfortable enough to approach her to say, hey, I'm in real estate now, I can help you. And, because I know that she's interested in selling and buying, but I'm just having this fear of approaching her because it's been a while.
Yeah. So you have two options. You can reach out to her or let somebody else get the business. Which one would make you feel better?
Say that again?
You have two options. You can reach out to her or you can just sit back and let somebody else get the business. Which one would feel better for you?
Reaching out to her, but I'm just, having the fear of how to reach out to her. Like, should I just first,
yeah,
set up, like, let's go for coffee now that we have got our vaccines and catch up on things? And I don't know. Would that be a good approach?
I love being direct. Grace, I'm so sorry that we haven't connected in a long time, but I heard that you were looking for some help with, potentially moving. What's going on with you in your life? Why are you thinking of selling?
Okay.
Where are you looking to go? Instead of jumping in and asking for the business, jump in and ask, just open up questions, find out about them, come from care and kindness.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So a phone call.
A phone call.
Okay.
I would recommend not saying, I'm in real estate now. I don't know why. You don't need to say now. I'm in real estate. I heard you were looking for something.
All right.
What's going on with you? Bring it back to them because they don't really want to hear about you. It's important to find out about them. So I thank you. This is a safe place, people. So thank you for sharing your limiting beliefs because that's how we all learn and we all grow. And I think that's a super common one, Grace, where, when we are reaching out to people that we have known in the past, whether it's from, oh, that's my alarm, then we're going to have a break soon. When we're reaching out to people in our past, whether it's people we worked with or our old neighbors or friends that we haven't talked to in a while, go back to what you're saying to yourself in the morning first. I'm going to help these people. I'm so happy that I now have the tools and skills that I can help them. And have that be in your mind first before you pick up the phone. Not, I wonder if they're going to want to hear from me. I haven't talked to them in a while. What am I going to say? So say those things to yourself first. I am so lucky that I have the skills that I can now help people that need help buying and selling real estate. And then you pick up the phone and, hey, I heard that you have some moves coming on in your life. What's happening? Tell me more about that. I'm so glad to connect with you. We haven't talked in a while because you not having reached out to her, she hasn't reached out to you either.
Amen.
So how great for you. You're being the one to take the first step. That's awesome. Change the way that you look at things, and the things that you look at will change. I promise. If you practice that, it will.
Grace, and I trust if you haven't spoken to your friend Stacy since like 1989, you're not going to call her and be like, So sorry, it's been a while. Are you buying something today? No, cool. Talk to you never. Like that's not how it's going to go. I appreciate that. That's probably not the case. So to Susan's point, a great point. Your limiting belief, I can't call Stacy and bother her. It's been 13 years or whatever the time frame is, right? We all have people in our phone that we've had in there for a long time. I'd start with those calls first. And this is just, you're nurturing them back into your life, right? This is a call to start to reconnect with them. This is, I mean, and again, if it feels appropriate, and to Susan's point, you're reaching out because you did overhear that she's looking to do something transactionally within the real estate world, right? So you do want to be a part of that. You don't have to, the opening salvo doesn't need to be like Susan said, hey, I just got my license. The ink is still wet. Just, I'm in real estate. And the reason I reached out, I apologize. It's been so long. How can I help? How can I be of service? Right. You're basically just rebuilding the relationship, right? It doesn't need to be salesy. It's about reconnecting with her as a human, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
You're welcome.
That is one of my goals to get through that one person this week.
Well, I'm going to challenge you, and I'm going to say, write down 15 of those people that you know and call all 15. Because guess what? By the time you get to 15, you're going to be so good at it that tomorrow you can make another 15.
I don't know if I could do 15.
10, 5.
Yeah.
But do more than one, let it roll. The more you do it,
okay,
the easier it will be. And hey, what if you made the connection the priority?
Oh, that's a good
Make the
idea.
connection the priority, not getting, what if your first priority was making the connection? The rest will follow. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So make the connection the priority, and the conversation will flow if you do that. I promise you. If you, there's an opportunity to internalize these scripts and make them your own. You know what you want to say, but come from that place of care, and the right thing will always happen.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Your comfort will grow, and asking for the business and referrals will become easier and more effective. That's the whole purpose of scripts. It will build that comfort. And how different will you feel when you talk to them and you have that confidence and that piece of being comfortable around the language that you're using. So if you don't have a script partner to script that conversation with, then go into the bathroom and look in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself. Okay. I am, unless anyone else has anything else on this, on a limiting belief that they want to share, we're going to take a break.
I do. I was in one of these classes, I think it was Monday's class, where we learned and we practiced the Ford questions. And I think this is exactly what Grace can use when she tries to connect with one of her friends. And Ford stands for family. So first you say, gosh, we haven't talked in such a long time. How's the family doing? And then you move on to, occupation. Are you still a dental hygienist, or, and then are you still doing those road races, and then are you still dreaming of moving to Florida or California or northern New Hampshire, and when we were practicing, we broke out into sessions. And when I was going through the Ford questions, I realized myself really pretty much ever since we've been in quarantine with COVID, that not only did I distance myself from the outside people in the outside world, my conversations also became distant. So I blamed COVID. I'm saying, listen, I really haven't had a conversation with anybody in such a long time. I'm just so excited to feel like I'm allowed to get outside and breathe again and speak again, and just start a conversation that way. And then it's you connecting again as friends. And then when you can talk about her dreams and where she's going with that. I mean, I'd love to have a friend that I knew that was going to be moving, so that I could reach out. I do have 2 listings that are coming, but I want more. But I think that was one of the most helpful things that came out of Monday's session. So I just wanted to share that if other people missed it.
Thank you for sharing, Jill. That's really great and true. And your first line, Grace, can be, hey, I'm so happy to connect with you. Alyssa, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. So I actually had a question. So I haven't actually taken my exam yet. I'm in the process of studying for it. the office I've been talking to thought it would be a good idea if I just jumped in to kind of listen in on the training. So this is the first session I've listened to, so I'm not sure if this was brought up at all. But I think personally, my biggest concern is kind of like my age. I literally just finished my last semester of college last week and took advantage of COVID and took my course while I was still in school. And so I feel like a lot of people are going to look at me and just see my age and think unexperienced, young, and like don't really know what I'm talking about. Do you have any suggestions about like kind of like convincing them otherwise without necessarily coming right out and saying it?
Yes. Well, congratulations on getting through the class. I know that that's a tough one for sure.
Yes.
And you're going to do great on your test. So that's an awesome first place, right? To get your license and get started. And then I find other people, like there's Carlos right here in this script room. He's a young guy too, that could be just got his license starting out. You guys would be great script partners. Practice, find someone that you can practice having those conversations with. I think it's really great that you're in Ignite and you're getting some tools and skills. And, if there's mentors or people within your market center that can help you get exposure for that first part, that first slide, if you were here on the growing your business, where you get into previewing real estate, that will help you. You just need to tool up and build some confidence. When you're talking to folks, be excited. Be excited. Try to talk to some folks that, might be within your sphere, or if you have, folks that have family and friends that might be looking to do something, let them know how excited that you are about having you graduated from college. That's fantastic. That's a huge accomplishment. You're showing that you're goal oriented. You have your real estate license. You're really looking forward to help people learn how to buy it, with them buying and selling. I think that the first step, Alyssa, is just jumping in and doing it. It's hard to pick up the phone and call, but if you jump in and do it and stumble, that's okay. Give yourself the grace to, yes, actually I can. Thank you for keep putting that up there. That is awesome. You have to believe in yourself and believe in your abilities. And it's okay to stumble a little bit when you first put yourself out there, but you keep moving forward. I consider myself a master at failing forward. I've done a lot of things wrong, but you know what? Every day I get up and I try to do the next right thing. And I encourage you to do that. You can do it, Alyssa. You just have to keep putting it out there because you can.
Susan, what do we always say at our office, 463 in Portsmouth, New Hampshire? We always say, if you look at the national numbers, just look at our brokerage, look at Keller Williams nationally, planet-wide. I would argue as a group, we suck better than everybody else, right? So you can look at this and you're going to have to get better at this moving forward in both directions. If you're representing the seller and you get the unrep buyer, you've got to be real good at telling that story of why it's a benefit to work with you as the agent working with both clients. If you have a buyer who's looking for representation or not looking for representation because they feel it'll be easier to work directly with the listing agent, you have to also be really good at that conversation. Alyssa, you can look at it as an advantage or a disadvantage. And I think there's a massive advantage. And you'll hear Gary say this multiple times. Some of the top agents in Keller Williams right now were not in the business 5 years ago, right? So you can look at it. There's two sides to the coin. I mean, I get on the elevator anytime our youngest is autistic and diabetic. So we spent a good chunk of time as he was getting older at Children's Hospital for a myriad of things. And I'd be on the elevator and Doogie Howser, some 14-year-old kid who's a doctor, just would get on the elevator. I'm like, I am slowly dying. I would freak out. At the same time, this kid's fresh out of med school. You're fresh out of real estate class. And you're joining the wicked smartest brokerage on the planet. So you've got to remember, just in New England alone, there's about 7,000 licensed Keller Williams agents in New England. And you've got that army behind you. So when you're having these conversations with people, like Susan said, bring the excitement and bring the ignorance is bliss. Like just the fact that I don't know what I don't know, but I'm backed by an army that knows what they know. And we are the best and the brightest on the planet. We're armed with tech. We're armed with an owner that's investing in tech. You're going to run into a lot of, and I say this respectfully because I'm one of them, a lot of dinosaurs marching around real estate and they're like, I helped Mary and Joseph buy the manger. Cool. We're using computers now, you know, so you've got to respect the fact that you are a gift to the industry, and you've got to lean in with that positivity, and you've got to believe in yourself first. Confidence, you don't arrive with confidence. It's given to you by the people in the room. And if you don't show up expecting it, you'll never have it. Okay.
Can I say something? What kept coming to mind was mindset and affirmations. And first of all, Alyssa, just listening to you talk, you exude confidence, actually. Your demeanor is wonderful. So I think it's getting out there and saying, I can do this. And I agree with Timothy and Susan, you got an incredible team behind you. And maybe just say you recognize this was something that you always wanted to do. COVID gave you the opportunity to do it, and you're ready to get in there, and you will represent them. And if, by the way, you don't know the answer to something, you've got an amazing team behind you that will help you through it. You'll do great. But I think affirmations, I can do this. I'm smart, I'm powerful, I'm confident, I can do this. It really makes a difference.
Yes, I'm definitely going to apply affirmations now after listening to everybody. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, one thing to consider for folk, I love affirmations, and I haven't done this, and I need to do it myself. I know somebody that verbalized and recorded their affirmations on their phone. So when they drive to work, they listen to themselves talking to themselves with their affirmations. And it's
That's super creepy, but I love it. Yeah.
I love it. Right? When you listen to your own voice talking to yourself your whole drive to work, I'm a
Right.
great realtor. People are lucky to talk to me. I'm going to make a lot of connections today.
They're home, they're
I look
happy, and they're going to
awesome.
list with me. Yeah.
I'm like, you pump yourself up. So that's a possibility for you too.
Well,
Okay, guys.
yeah, we're going to break for cake, so you guys can go do a bio break. And if anyone has questions, we're certainly hanging out. When do you want to bring it back, Susan?
How about 10:40? It's 10:28, 12 minutes. Will that be
10:40.
good for everybody?
Sure.
Okay, because I'm behind and I'm really going to work hard on ending on time. So 10:40.
We love it. 10:40. Yeah, right now it's beautiful downtown Meredith. You having a blast?
Yes. It's
Excellent.
cold. It's cold and rainy.
Indoors.
So-
We have to get the roof fixed.
No, I have my blanket to keep me warm.
Is the heat shut off downstairs?
Well, no, I was worried that was going to be the case, so I don't need it actually. But I was like, I don't know if the heat's still on. Like, I don't have the heat on at my house anymore.
Yeah.
You just put a sweater on when you're at my house. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, Aaron and Tim.
What's up, Nick? How are you, kid?
How are you, Nick?
I'm good. I joined in for a second time because it's definitely
That's
worth it.
awesome. Yeah.
How have the both of you been?
Very
Very
good. Thank you for
well.
asking. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you guys do a lot of hard work doing these ignites. So
Oh, thanks, Nick. We're
someone
happy
has
have
to
you
acknowledge
back.
it.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you. How's
No
your
problem.
business going?
It's going good. It's going good. You
What
know,
are you-
definitely need to learn more, but I've been doing a lot of lead generation, connecting with other realtors. That's a big thing that I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
Basically just trying to structure myself before I even work with a client. I've been working with a couple renters and family members, but I just want to make sure everything is prepared. So I want to make sure I can give, my client my full work ethic.
So at this point, so this is your second round of Ignite. I would love to hear by the end of Ignite that you have a contract with someone so what would you need to do to get there?
I mean, I have a couple contracts, but they're more rentals.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I would definitely like to get a listing and maybe a buyer. I had a first time home buyers and their expectations were just out of this world. They had a $250,000 budget and 1 month left to move.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, so we had to part ways, but
What
um,
market are you in again? Remind me.
the Beverly North Shore
Beverly.
area.
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of like, if you had someone that you're working with right now that you could turn into a paycheck or a commission for yourself,
Right.
what's missing that you need to know to do that? Like
My knowledge.
So what specifically? Because knowledge is a big word.
Yeah, it is. So
Nick, if she was in the same room with you right now, Nick should be kicking you in the shin, just so you know. Go ahead though.
Yeah, this is how
We're gonna poke
love
some holes in your
people-
limiting beliefs, kiddo.
Yeah, this is how I love you to success, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the knowledge that you need right now that's holding you back?
how to write up an offer, how to negotiate.
Okay.
Yeah, knowing my client's budget, so I'm not directing them in the wrong way.
Okay, so those are 3 things, right? So how
Mhm.
to write an offer. Where can you get that information today? How can you learn how to do that today?
Well, there's multiple ways. There's other realtors, there's videos. But my thing is I have to sit down and write up an offer myself. That's the problem. I need to get some hands-on experience, and it's been hard to do that.
Nick, you're not alone. I'm in the same position.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why
I'm not alone at all. I feel the same way. I have potential buyers and I just don't know what to do.
That's how I feel. I feel like a
I
chicken
know
without
you are
his
not-
head.
Yeah.
So one thing I've been told recently is that when they sign you, they're not just signing you, they're signing a whole team, because you have all these people, all these resources that you can obviously contact and connect with, so you can get them the best of possible offers, contracts, whatever it is. You have the resources, so you're not working by yourself. At least that's what I've been.
Thank you, Anthony. Yeah.
Thank
Oh, and that Nick, that reason I'm like drilling into this right now is because probably everyone on this call that hasn't had a deal yet feels the exact same way, right? And so could you time block today specifically? I'm just gonna pick at that one thread, which is the how to write a contract. Could you time block today and tomorrow, and by the end of the week, know how to do that?
Of course.
So what's preventing you from doing that?
More of like getting the help in person, I would say, or even on a Zoom call.
Okay. So do you think that there's anyone on this call that might have that knowledge that would jump on a Zoom with you for half an hour and go through that with you?
I'm sure there is. There's plenty of very educated people in here.
Yeah. And in the meantime, do you have classes in your market center that you can attend where you can learn how to do this?
I hope so. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure that you're leaning back into your coaching staff, your team leaders, and the resources at your market center guys. For sure, your managing broker, your coaching staff. A lot of you are getting market center tech trainers. To Erin's point, I guess the analogy I'd throw in here, Erin, is if Nick loved basketball and he had not yet really fixed his form to nail a 3, would you sit on the couch and think about hitting 3s, Nick, or would you go out and shoot 3s?
Yeah, I would say, where are your feet? Right? Like square your feet up to the net. Yeah.
I'm trying. I mean, yes, there's plenty of resources and plenty of people that I can go to. It's just more of in the moment type situation. And there's only so many times that I can say, I'll get back to you with that answer. And it's hard because then, it happens multiple times. And that's what happened with the first time home buyers. It was just a mix of everything, I feel like.
Yeah, so if you printed out like if you know, or had it even in your on your tablet or whatever, if you took every day, and this is for everyone on the call. This isn't, and I appreciate that I'm picking on you, Nick, and understand
fun.
understand it's to grow you and everyone on this.
He
in this
started
class.
this. He said
Yeah.
hi to us. Sarah. He's asking for
You
it.
gave me a compliment, so
Yeah.
now I'm gonna help you grow.
That's like telling the teacher, asking the teacher if there's any homework. I did it to myself. So
Yeah,
go right ahead.
you brought this on yourself. But so if you took your contract, so if you just took the purchase and sales and you just every day for the next little while, like you literally just picked a property and wrote a fake offer on it and filled it out, right? If you started actually doing it, think of the clients that you're working with, and it doesn't have to be real, and then ask another agent that you've built a relationship with, could you look at this? Like, it doesn't need to be just like, did I fill this out correctly? Did I miss something? How does this look? Right? If you have your coaches or your people in your market center practicing, and that goes back to scripts, right? Your contracts and your purchase and sales, they are a script as well. So learn them. How do you explain this document? Learn it inside and out. You're going to know how to fill it out. Just work on one section at a time, right? Like how do I talk about the commission when I get to that part? How do I talk about, the book and the page number? Where do I get that information for a listing? The more you do these things kind of a little bit every day, you're going to build a habit around it, and it's going to get easier, and you're going to have language around it. And that becomes your script of describing, our disclosure form in the state of New Hampshire, or we have a wire fraud alert form. Do you guys all have that? Is that, I don't know if that's like Keller Williams Wide or if that's, but we have a wire fraud alert form. Like, learn that form. Right. So, yeah. And you want to check in your market centers. You might have a different packet of forms. If you're licensed in multiple states, learn your forms for each state. The more you are comfortable with that, you're going to be more confident to start writing offers, right? Don't wait till your first, like someone's like, I want to make an offer. And now you have to learn how to fill out the offer. Start practicing today.
And Gary, and obviously, Erin's a huge fan too. And our owner here, Nathan Dickey's a massive Disney fan. And Gary will often discuss the Disney analogy. And what happens to a lot of us as we get started, Nick, is we get into analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
And your concern that the 38,000 rides you want at your park aren't all ready to open. When you realize that the person walking through the gate at your park that's brand new, pretty small, maybe some fried dough, maybe some teacups, all they wanted was the fried dough and the teacups. So deliver what you have and use that opportunity as they come through. And you guys will notice this too when you start to build your listing presentations. I guarantee the last kitchen table that Erin sat down at, she probably has all these bullet points, right? And that there's all these bullet points that she offers as a seller, and an exploratory conversation we want to do at the beginning is, well, what's most important to you when you're looking for someone to list your home, Mr. Lindsay? What's important to you? If they say 5 things that are part of my 35, all I'm going to do is slide those 5 bullet points to the top.
Yeah.
So Nick, you have everything in you right now and the resources behind you to get into action. I heard you at the top of your comments say, I really want a listing. And the bold law, if you guys have taken bold or not, want equals lack.
Yeah.
You are putting yourself in a state of want, and you can create that listing. You can go get that today, or start the activities to get you there today. What we know is we're 90 days out from August 3rd, I believe. So whatever your face does today to talk to the humans today, to create an opportunity to get to a kitchen table today, is going to be a closing table for the first week of August. So, and I understand, you haven't had a chance to write up this, that, or the other thing, because you haven't had that opportunity with a human. Start to do some, I hate to call them fake CMAs. Start to do the unsolicited CMA. Do you have a friend? I'll pick on Christina. If Christina Westgate owns a home in a town that I want to take over as the mayor, I'm just going to run the numbers on her house. Hey, Christina, it's Timmy. You know what? I was spending some time looking at the numbers in Newton. I drilled down actually to your neighborhood. I've got some really cool metrics about your street, and I ran some numbers on your house. Would you guys be available to run over those numbers tomorrow at 3 or Friday at 5, just to get a better sense of where you stand in the marketplace? Would that be a benefit to you?
Yeah.
Right?
I
If she
think
says
that would-
yes or no, or like, yeah, we're actually thinking about listing, or we're actually thinking about refining. We have to start to create these opportunities for the same way we're knocking on doors that aren't listed yet to bring them into the marketplace. We have to start to create the inventory and be adventurous in the way we're going to do it. So Nick, I absolutely understand where you sit. Everyone on this call that hasn't done their first deal yet, everyone on this call that has done their first deal felt the same way you did. So you're not alone. And I can't say that enough. You're not alone. You've got an army behind you. Your immediate market center, the team you may be on, and the entire region of New England is here for you. So as Nathan Dickey said to me when I got started, we're making omelets. You're going to break some eggs. Go break some eggs, stupid. He said stupid because we're really good friends, right? Like, go break some eggs, because you'll break enough eggs making the omelets. We can hire somebody to pick up the mess. And ask Erin, she knows. Ask Susan, she knows. I'm messy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All you guys see is the frame. There's like stuff everywhere in here, you know?
I think the other thing too is like, you'd rather have like show up to your client when you're going to write that first purchase and sales agreement, kind of having done it a few times, right? So, and that's what we have to do. This is the professional aspect of our career, is to understand the language that we use to communicate with people and the forms and the documents that we use, right? So that we are competent. So just go do it. Like, we do a CMA on every one of your friends' houses, right? Or whatever, just so that you get that practice. You'll feel more informed when you actually are doing that listing appointment. So
if in your conversations today, you tripped over an opportunity to get to a kitchen table in the next 48 hours, answer me this question. Could you call your market center and talk to your TL or your coach or your Rainmaker team lead, Susan Kenyon, and say, hey, I've got this opportunity at this kitchen table. I have 0.0 ideas of what I'm doing. Could you send somebody with me? Your client's going to feel grateful because you're bringing a teammate with you, a wily veteran with you. And I know your initial thought is, well, I want the whole grape. I would rather have half the watermelon than the whole grape. If I can co-list with an expert that's going to show me the ropes, help me get paid, build some experience, get a notch in my belt, and then I can move on to the next. So we're going to let Susan start driving again. You probably figured out, because we're in a digital format, there's no cake. We still love you. Keep your cameras on and keep the questions coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And remember, we practice our scripts and our CMAs and everything else so that we're not practicing on our customers and our clients and our contacts. That's why we do it. We don't want them to feel like they're our practice. So if you're doing the CMAs, ask your family and friends, can I come present this to you, and wrap your head around that. And Erin, thank you for bringing up the contracts, because if you can't read a contract, whether it's a listing agreement, a buyer agency agreement, a purchase and sales agreement, upside down by pointing line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, then you haven't practiced them enough. Period. End of statement.
Amen.
Go do it again.
And the benefit right now, Susan, is because we are in a digital world and a lot of your kitchen tables are probably on Zoom, you have the benefit that you get to read the contract on the screen with them right side up. I mean, I encourage you to practice your Sanskrit so you can read it upside down, fast, backwards. And that's a mirror and match thing too. Like if I'm sitting with the Kenyons, John Kenyon's the high D. He wants me to read this quickly because he wants 2 numbers out of me, when and how much, right? And we need to understand how to do that. Please, I know for our market center, because we have agents licensed in 3 states today, every Wednesday for us is Sacred Cow. Your face should be in contracts. We did Massachusetts at 9, Maine at 10, New Hampshire at 11. And so find out from your market center when contracts takes place. That's not, hey, I went 3 times when I first got started. That should be an appointment your face never misses, because the laws are always changing, and we need to know what these contracts say, because we're utilizing them to defend our clients through the transaction. Okay.
Absolutely. And, I was listening to conversation during the break, and I did hear someone say that, I'm just trying to get prepared before I jump in and do stuff. One of the great things about Keller Williams is there's so much training to help you get prepared. One of the bad things is that there's so much training to help you get prepared that you don't actually do the job. You got to split that time up. You got to jump right in and don't wait until you're fully prepared, because I've been doing this a long time. I'm not fully prepared all of the time. You just got to jump in there and start doing it and get those balls rolling. Because you'll learn from those as well. So, okay, so we're going to benefits of, how to use scripts, role model memorizing scripts. Let me see, we're gonna jump to.
Thank you, Suzanne, Tim, and Erin. I appreciate that, by the way.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Nick.
No problem.
We love you, buddy. You're welcome to come back and get browbeaten anytime.
Yeah.
All right. I definitely will. I love you guys too.
I gotta find my right screen that I'm looking for here. How to use scripts. What is the benefit of asking questions versus telling in a conversation? So these are the things that we're going to talk about next. What are some of the things that you can do in a conversation to show the other party that you're truly listening? And how does tone of voice and body language affect conversation? So you actually have the scripts, but how do we use them? That's really important. And I think we've talked a lot about the benefit of asking questions versus telling in a conversation. The questions uncover motivation. We're taking that person from, being like this to start loosening their grip and opening up. That's the purpose of questions, because that's that whole part where we need to let them know how much we care. And that's the benefit of asking the questions and not just telling. One thing that, is easy to fall prey to is that you do so much training, you do so much learning that when you get that person on the other end of the phone, you just kind of want to vomit all of that knowledge on top of them. But we do have to listen, ask questions and listen, because they might not need every tool in your tool chest just yet. And that is the purpose of the questions. You're learning about their learning type, their love language, their style. And Tim mentioned the DISC. If you guys haven't done a DISC, then please log on to the Tony Robbins website. There's a free DISC analysis that will tell you your DISC profile. But what we do is on our presentation checklist, we have a spot where we write down what the person that we're talking to, what is their DISC profile. So if they are a high D, and that means they want direct communication, they don't want any fluff and buff, they don't want a lot of conversation, they just want the bullet points. Or am I talking to an engineer who wants a complete analysis on everything? The purpose of these questions and these scripts is that we need to uncover that so that we speak to people in the way that they want to be spoken to. Right? So
Susan, I put the link for the DISC is in the chat.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And Nina said, also do the KPA. Your KPA needs to be issued to you by your market center. So you can ask your leadership about having a KPA delivered to you. And then the DISC assessment, click that link. They'll send the results back to you for that.
Yep, absolutely. And, Gary Keller's, I'm probably going to butcher this, but the golden rule of communication is treat people the way they want to be treated. But the platinum rule is to treat them the way they want to be treated. And the same goes for the communication that we provide to them and the language that we use. We want to speak to them the way they need to be spoken to. That's what will resonate with them. So we do have a video here for you guys to watch. It's a fantastic video. I think that it's really going to help this conversation move along, and I'm just going to jump right into that.
Hi, I'm Jeff Glover, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent in the office, your team leader, a MAPS coach, or of course, Keller Williams University. Step 2, we're going to need to do a total transformation of, instead of talking and telling, of asking questions. Selling isn't telling, selling is asking a series of questions that leads to desired response. So instead of talking so much, we need to get in the habit of asking questions. And asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Control of the conversation gives us our ultimate outcome, which is an appointment set or closing. Step 3, we need to listen with good intentions. Well, what I mean by that is we need to listen to their answers instead of just listening to them talk and asking another question that comes to mind. For example, instead of asking a seller where they're moving to and then going on to the next question, how soon would you like to be there? Ask them, where are you moving to? And when they give you a response, ask them, what takes you there? Step 4 in becoming better at scripts is we need to learn to mimic, mirror, and match the prospect. What I mean by that is we have to listen to their tone of voice. We have to speed up or slow down based on how fast the prospect is talking. That means when they respond and say, we're moving to Toledo. Oh, Toledo, that's exciting. What takes you there? 93% of communication is body language and tonality.
Oh, gosh, what did I do?
And that means only 7% are the words that we say or the questions that we ask. Step 5, we need to take these 5 points and practice them daily. If you think of NFL teams, they practice 50, 60 hours on the practice field for a 1-hour game. Our game is our presentations and our appointments, and we need to practice daily everything that we've learned every single day before we meet with our clients. When it comes to scripts, my biggest aha is that everybody has their own scripts. We're pre-programmed to have scripts, and we're talking and asking questions that are scripted. However, what we found is that most of our own scripts are no good. And so we have to learn the right scripts, the right questions to maintain control of the conversation. Thanks for watching KW Connect. Make it a great day.
You can't beat Jeff Glover when it comes to scripts. You just can't. So, wow, how informative is that? 93% is body language and tonality. That's crazy. But this video brings up a lot of great points. Get the scripts. There is scripts in your information, in your packets from Ignite. You know, take those, pick a couple out that are going to be something that you focus on, whether it's Sphere or Expireds or whatever. You know, rewrite them for yourself and internalize them. Say them over and over again. If you're reading the scripts and you're saying the scripts and they sound weird, that's okay. This is new language for you that you now have to, you know, practice saying it. Even if it sounds weird, say it the way it's written until you can internalize it yourself and maybe make some adjustments. But get the scripts, don't wing it, and don't try to just come up with them all on your own. You have some roadmaps out there for scripts that can help you. And don't talk, ask great questions. And we've talked a lot about questions and the ability, like, ask great questions, ask them well, and listen carefully. So listen with good intentions. We're listening because we really care and we really want to learn about where our folks are going and how we can serve them. What I really love is bringing up the mirror and matching. And your tonality, if you're doing that on a Zoom or on a phone call, you can mirror and match tonality by, you know, if you're speaking to someone who is speaking slowly and you're like somebody that's like, you have to slow your speech pattern down. And even for me, it's very challenging to do that, but I'm gonna build comfort level with the person I'm talking to. When they speak like that, they're going to feel heard. They're going to feel that I care about them. But if I'm talking to someone that's just going at it, they got 5 minutes and we have 20 minutes of stuff to get through, I'm going to be going like this. I'm going to mirror and match that. If you're sitting across the table from someone, you can mirror and match physically as well. So if I'm sitting across the kitchen table from someone and they're like this, I'm going to be sitting like this. If they're sitting like this and they're kicked back and they're relaxed, I'm going to be sitting back like that and I'm going to kick back and relax. I need to mirror and match them because it increases their comfort level with me, which in turn will allow us to have a more productive conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And when you see them going like this, go with that. So one thing that I think is easy to do when you are sitting across from the table with someone or you're on a Zoom and maybe you're going through a listing presentation and they're getting it,
even though you have a lot more in here that you can tell them, stop. Just stop. They're telling you, if they're giving you language that is saying, I got it and I want to move on, then you move on. That might be when your script is, it looks like you're ready to get going here. You ready to sign some papers? And they go like this, you stop the rest of your presentation and you take out your papers, because their body language is telling you that they're ready to do that. And really, it's all about them, right? And so practice the mirror and matching on the people that you're just socializing with too. You might find a completely different conversation that you normally have with a friend or a family member. Mother's Day is coming up. You might be around some family members. Just practice mirror and match. Don't tell them what you're doing. Just practice doing it and see what kind of reactions that you get from that. And it'll just be good practice in general for doing it. And then of course, thank you, Jeff Glover, for saying practice daily. This is our craft. This is what we do. We need to practice it daily to be good at it. And the faster we can get to being good at it, the faster we're going to get results and move on to the next thing that we need to do to grow our business and then run our business. I think that there's a lot of power in repeating and approving. Repeating and approving allows people to be heard. Approving creates alignment, but repeating creates understanding. Like, so Tim, what I'm hearing you say is that you're a little apprehensive about where you're going to go if you put your house on the market.
Absolutely.
Right? And they feel heard. Well, I totally understand why you would feel that way. I'm approving that you feel that way, is what I'm saying by that. So now they know that I heard them and they know that I understand. I get that. I understand why you feel that way. I'm here to help you move through that, because it sounds like Florida is really important to you, because your grandkids are going to have the whole summer and I don't want you to miss out on that. No, I don't want to miss out on that. So you're repeating what they say so that they understand that you understand their needs. And then you're giving them approval to feel that way, because however they feel is okay.
Well, this is where I love feel, felt, found, right?
Yeah.
Understand how you feel. We've had a lot of clients that have felt the same way. Now I'm putting them in a group because all the humans love pack mentality. Oh, other people are frightened like I am, right? So we understand how you feel. We've had other clients that have felt the same way. And together, what we've found is that when we get started on your home search yesterday, you're going to have a more enjoyable experience when we finally transact, right? Because if they're like, well, yeah, we'd love to buy that house, but it's probably a few years out. Well, if we had a great conversation about the listing that you're looking for and you guys were able to keep your eye on the market, I understand how you feel. We've had clients that have felt the same way. What we found is when our clients have been able to watch the market and be more educated when they jump into the market, they've had a better experience. So if we got started with that today, would that be a problem for you and your loved ones? No. Awesome. Sign here. Let's start talking, right? So feel, felt, found works the same way that what Susan was talking about. We just want to make sure that they feel heard and cared for. That's our job.
Yep.
So they feel heard and cared for.
Yep. Okay. And, the tonality part is so powerful because we are doing a lot on the phone where we might not even have the benefit of being on a Zoom call where we can see what their body language is looking like. So the tonality is really important. So if I don't have, one of the reasons I like to do affirmations in the morning and talk to myself is because I can get my energy up. So I have to do more work. I have to be more intentional when all I have is a phone call. I have to be spot on when I make that phone call. The tonality is important now more than ever because we are doing still a little bit less in person. So that phone call conversation and your tone and your confidence is going to resonate with the person on the other end of that phone call and giving them time to respond back to you before you move on to a next point. Even though I might have a checklist of what I want to get through, I have to make sure that I'm matching what their goals are, and asking questions that help me determine their goals will help me determine the roadmap that I'm going to take and the journey I'm going to take them on.
Susan, when you're talking about the affirmations, and I find it fascinating that people, and there's probably, I'm sure there's still some people on this call that feel Like they feel like it's goofy. I don't know if I want to talk to myself while I'm alone. I don't know if I want to listen to my own voice in the car while I'm driving. Yet we are all guilty at some point of affirming the negative, right? And this is the story we always talk about. Like I'm walking down the hallway, Erin passes me, I sneeze, and she's like, "God bless you. Are you getting a cold?" Now I'm like walking into my office. I'm like, I think I am getting a cold. I feel like I'm dying. Like we'll go down that wormhole so quickly. Like somebody said, "Are you getting sick?" And we're like, I am getting sick. We'll affirm the negative so quickly, right? As you pull on your margarita there. God bless you, Susan. Right. So we're so quick to skate to that puck, yet we won't laminate. And it sounds maniacal. It is. You're welcome. Do it. Take your affirmations, laminate them, put them in the shower, and say them to yourselves. Nobody else is cheering you on, right? We spend most of the time talking to one person in our life. Spoiler alert, it's you, right? And if you're going to fill the 5.5 inches between your ears with garbage, like that's not going to be helpful. So be your best teammate. Talk yourself up, right? You have to be your own locker room speech in the morning. Okay.
Yep, you got to script yourself. Before you can script anybody else, you really do have to script yourself to get there. And when you do that and it works on you, take that as a big clue. Wow, that worked on my own self. It's going to work when I talk to the next contact that I make on the phone. So meet them where they're at. That's one of the ways that we use scripts. Okay, there is going to be homework, folks, on role modeling and practicing your scripts. The purpose here is, so that you can engage and internalize the scripts. And I know I've said that a lot on the internalizing piece. And this is where, you might have a script in your head saying scripts are too salesy. I don't want to be like, the Avon lady. Sorry, Tim, I always use that. And I know that was your mom was an Avon lady. You don't want to be that person that someone sees you coming and they're like, "Ooh, there's Susan Kenyon. She's going to ask me about real estate. I'm going to go in the other direction." That's a script that you say in your head. So when we're scripting so that we internalize what we need to say. And it means that we can then recite them in a way that's meaningful and adding value to whoever we're speaking to. So I encourage you to pick your scripts, write them out, repeat them, let your subconscious take a hold of them, grab onto ideas. So when you're in the moment of talking to someone, and that's a moment of impact, your brain just automatically knows what to do. Your scripts are so that you're building muscle memory for your vocabulary, right? Scripts are muscle memory. Just like when someone sneezes and you say, "Bless you," it's automatic. You don't even have to think about it. Someone holds the door open for you, you say, "Thank you." You don't even have to think about it. The script is so that you're building that muscle memory so that at the moment of impact, you know where to go. You're not like, where do I go? What do I say next? It's going to help you to have that muscle memory. When you're not doing that, what's at stake? And I'm going to be transparent here. I am money motivated. It's just part of who I am. I am truly blessed to be in this business. I love helping people. That is why I'm here. But I am money motivated. So what's at stake if I don't internalize my scripts and offer great service and great value and impactful, powerful conversations? For me, it's $5,000, it's $10,000. It's $20,000, $1 million listing, a $200,000 listing. Whether I have a $200,000 listing or a $1 million listing, I give the same great service, the same great results, and both of those people are very lucky to have me on their team. But I internalize that, and I do attach like some money motivators for me for that. So for me, if I'm not practicing scripts for my contracts, if I'm not practicing scripts on cold calling or getting somebody to the table for an agency agreement, then for me, that has a dollar amount attached to that. If you're not money motivated, then you figure out for you what it is that not learning your scripts is going to take from you. What is the cost associated with that? What does your family deserve at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year? They deserve for you to bring home a paycheck so that you can feed them, clothe them, house them, take them on. Now let's get even better than that. Let's take them out to eat. Let's take them on vacation. Let's get them that new bike. What is it for you? What is it going to be that not learning your scripts is going to take from? And that could be a motivator for you, that, you know, figure out what that is. For me, what's at stake? It's that paycheck. That's what is that work going to take? What is it going to give me? It's going to give me that next piece of business so that I can have more fun. I love to go out. I love to do things with my friends. I like to pick up the check. So for me, learning my business affords me the opportunity to do that. When I was just getting started, my motivator was that so that I could go to the grocery store and put whatever I wanted in my cart. Because I couldn't. I was so budget tight because I took this leap of faith to go into a 100% commission job that I didn't go to the grocery store and just put steak in my cart if that's what I wanted. I had to be very aware that I have 3 children at home that needed things. So for me, that was a motivator. I want to go shopping and I want to have people over and I want to put whatever in there I feel like making tonight. So what is it for you? What motivates you guys?
I'm kind of the same way.
Are
Like
you-
it's all lifestyle based for me. Like I really enjoy golfing and like being able to take some time away. So being able to, you know, it is kind of money driven, but being able to, you know, I enjoy stepping away and enjoying golf or vacations or spending time with my fiance. You know, those are things that are important to me that help drive me create business.
I love golf. I don't enjoy it though. That's a difference. You know what I mean, Adrian? I
sure
love
do.
that Susan brought this up too. And I want you guys to think from like, rather than coming from, you know, come from abundance when you're thinking this way. Susan talked about Disney. Cool. You got your family to Disney. Are you staying in the park or are you sleeping in the car in the parking lot? Like all those things. Like how can you plus that for your family? And what I want you to do is if you're unwilling to do your lead generation today, tomorrow, the day after that, then use that time to create a list of all the things your family doesn't deserve. Because whether you're physically writing those things down, you're making that list. You're making a choice. Your family, Erin and I say this to our agents all the time. I know you, I love you, I trust you. I know you have the tools to get things done. I'm more concerned about the family standing behind you. Your loved ones standing behind you are subject to what you choose to do or not do today. And Gary says this all the time. Real estate is not about the chosen few. It's about the few who choose. So how will you use your time? Are you going to talk to the humans and help them figure out what success looks like for them? Or do you want to cobble together a list of all the things your loved ones don't deserve? Because that's what we're doing. Whether you're writing it down or not, you're choosing for your family. They don't deserve X, Y, or Z. Like I didn't do my lead gen. I can't afford a cough drop right now. So that's why I'm choking, you know, like little things like that. Like what are you deciding you don't deserve in your life right now? Because if you don't do lead gen today, if you're not booking your face for a kitchen table on August, in the next couple of weeks to be at a closing table on August 3rd, 90 days out, you're doing that on behalf of your family. You're making that choice.
It's kind of powerful to tie your work because this is hard, guys, isn't it? Like, is it comfortable to just want to role play with someone? Not always, right? If you're kind of going, so tie that kind of pain and pleasure to what you're going to get on the back end. You know, I have 2 kids that live out of state. I need to be able to make money so that I can go visit them wherever they end up, you know, wherever they are or wherever they end up being. I need to be able to go see them. That is like a deep rooted need for me. I need to make money so that I can go see my kids that live out of state. So memorizing and practicing your scripts and internalizing them, I tie it to that. And then when I have to do it, you can have a picture of them up. You can have a picture of, you know, if it was my husband, it would be another motorcycle. If it was,
boy.
I know, right?
Oh, boy.
Be a garage to put them in. That'd be great.
Harleys aren't cheap.
Harleys aren't cheap.
Yep.
You know, whatever it is that, you know, you'll hear vision boards and stuff like that, whatever that vision is of what's important to you, if it's your family, if it's a new car, if it's new golfing equipment or a golfing membership, if it's being able to give back to your community in meaningful ways with your checkbook, if that's what it is, whatever it is for you, have that up as a visual so that you see it, so that when you're going through and doing all this work and or making that next call because I only have 5 contacts and my goal is 10, look at that and let that energize you and give you the motivation. And because you have a script, right? You need to get motivation from whomever you're talking to. You need to get motivation from yourself to make that next call. So give yourself the ability to motivate yourself by tying it to what's important to you. What's at stake if I don't do it?
When we hear from Diana Kokoska and other great coaches, typically most of us will move away from pain faster than we'll move towards pleasure, right? So that's why you'll notice a lot of coaches will coach to consequence. Erin and I have made it a practice that I'd personally rather coach you to celebration. And it doesn't need to be Disney. It doesn't need to be a trip to Mars. It could be the restaurant that you guys love, taking your kids to ice cream. It'll be in the moment that you're celebrating with them that you'll recognize that you got your first listing, whatever that looks like. So one of the best things you can do is make a commitment, decide what your goal looks like. By the end of May, by May 31st, I will have 2 new listings. Write that on a piece of paper, go home, have your family sign it, and then take a picture and send that to your coach that says, mom or dad will have 2 listings by the end of May. And then you hang that on the fridge. Like Susan was talking about, like that visual concept, the whole family sees that commitment on the fridge. It's like the bikini photo on the freezer, which I ignore. And I just grab the Haagen-Dazs anyway. That's another story for another time. All that being said, when everybody has buy-in for the celebration, it doesn't matter what the celebration is. It's the fact that you chose it together. Because when you walk in the house, if they're looking forward to going to Disney or going to your favorite ice cream place or that restaurant you guys only go to once a year or for graduations or whatever, they're going to ask you, did you make your calls? They're going to ask you, did you set a kitchen table? And having your family support you in that too, right? It might mean they send you back out to your car to finish your calls and you can't come in for dinner. At the same time, they're supporting you. Employ help. And if you can get your family emotionally involved and romanticize what you're doing together, I think that'll be powerful. I prefer you guys doing that than going to consequence. I think that if you don't make your calls, send a check to the broker across the street because you're helping their business anyway. That makes me want to eat my face and jump out of a first floor window. I think that's counterintuitive. I'd rather have you guys emotionally attached to the success of the outcome for your loved ones.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys made a hard choice. You had to go through that darn real estate class, which is not always fun and easy. You had to take the test. Like, that's a lot of work. You're jumpstarting a new business. This is not a job. This is a business. So empower yourself to go all in, figure out what your motivation is, play towards that, and memorize, practice, and internalize your scripts. It will help you get there for sure. We're still on some understanding scripts. Hold on. Oh, I had a couple more notes. Role playing and understanding your scripts is the most relevant part of taking your business to the next level. I like that part because no matter where you're at, you're trying to get to another level. So if you're right now just trying to get your first appointment, that's your level. But in 6 months from now, it should be getting another listing or getting another buyer, or maybe having 2 closings next month, maybe having consistently 1 closing a month. How would your life look like? What would your life look like if you had at least 1 closing every single month? What would it look like if you had 3 closings every month? It would look really good, I think. So these are the tools that will help you get there. Figuring out when are you going to role play. So we did talk about that a little bit when we're talking about role play and script practice. You got to practice it. I'm an advocate for doing stuff in the morning when your energy is fresh, but that's me. If you're a night person and you have another night person that will role play with you at night, figure that out and commit to it. It's got to be every day. And as soon as one person isn't committing, then you need another partner. I kind of think that it's hysterical that I am teaching this class because my husband is a script fanatic. He loves to lead generate. He is the weirdo. He loves it. If he could just lead generate every day and never go on appointments, that's his ideal job. That's why we're partners. I can go out, we can kind of play off of each other, but truly it's his lead generation. He loves it. So
well, such a great point too, Susan. The reason he's not teaching this class is because he's lead generating.
Oh, he could not do this. He is lead
He'd
generating.
lose his mind sitting here for 3 hours. Yeah, he's like he's on the phone.
He would.
And his motivation is, like, to your point, building that reserve of cash to go visit the kids and the future grandkids, his 4th Harley, like all the things that you guys want to do, right?
Absolutely.
Like, raise your hand if you joined real estate to make less money than you were making before. Exactly. Right. Like, everybody came here not for a parallel move, but most people came here for 2 reasons, right, Susan? They wanted to control their calendar and their checkbook, and we need to behave appropriately to do so.
Absolutely. And, for scripting, I don't know how many people are on here from the Portsmouth, New Hampshire Market Center, but him and Mark Zoller kind of came up in Keller Williams around the same time. And I think they were 3 years anyway, where every day, Monday through Friday, they scripted on the way to work every single day. And they didn't miss because they committed to each other. And it was a verbal agreement. We're committing to scripting to each other, because even way back then, what do successful agents do? Guess what? It hasn't changed. Back then they scripted. And today it still hasn't changed. Successful agents script. So they chose Monday through Friday to script every single day. They would agree ahead of time what their topic was that week that they were going to script on. And the phone would ring and you pick up the phone jumping into the script.
Right.
But it's a commitment that you have to make with yourself and your script partner. Nick, you had your hand raised. How are you?
Oh, no, it's because Tim said that whoever joined real estate to make less money, raise your hand. So I was just fooling around.
Oh.
He raised his digital hand and it got stuck. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll put it down. Sorry.
And
about that.
to Susan's point about, we got Mark Zoller here with the Zoller Group, John Kenyon with the Kenyon team. And if you look at any of the rainmakers, team leads in your market centers, the ones that are truly committed, they're going to have the headset on in the morning, right? Because whether you're leading or not leading, you're leading. The kids on your team are watching you, right? The same way our kids watch us at home, right? We are setting the example in our actions, right? So we talk about role play and real play. You can't come into this industry and get to a point where you built a team like Susan and John Kenyon have without doing the activities. And even, should you choose to, and like to Susan's point, John would be perfectly happy wearing a headset and just setting up kitchen tables for an army of people that are going to go take the listing appointments. And if you get really good at that, you could be purposeful about that. If you were setting 365 appointments in a given year, would that be pretty awesome? I'd argue, based on New England's average price point and commission, you'd be okay. You could probably get the lobster this weekend, right? So what if you just set out that was your goal every day? I'm going to set a kitchen table for my face every day. That's the end game. And we also have to be okay with the fact that, hey, I didn't set a kitchen table, but I helped Adrian, work with the creditor to get himself back on track. He'll be in a home again, probably in 7 years after he's cleared his bankruptcy. I helped Chuck, get signed up for my first time home buyer seminar, my first time home seller seminar, anything like that. If we're having conversations where people feel heard and cared for, and we're staying engaged, they know that when they have anything that has to do with real estate, they can come to us. We have to be okay with those smaller conversations too, and take those as victories.
Yeah. And
And that only happens when you lift a 75,000 pound phone to your face and talk to your people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to keep yourself in check. Our motto is relationship, service, and results, in that order. And I talk about that a lot because it's the relationship that is the most important piece to us personally. And it's the most important piece in our business, is to have that relationship. And we do get that through scripting. We get that through being consistent. Easy, small things done consistently will yield big results. So working on that relationship constantly and There's not really any slides in here on database and stuff like that. That will come. But I encourage you, while you're building your relationships, make sure that you are documenting these conversations. You've scripted them. You spent all this time learning about scripts, 3 hours today. You're going to have script partners. You're going to invest all of that time. When you start speaking with people, you need to document that, because you think you're going to remember that, oh yeah, when I talked to Lindsay, she's a high D, but when I talked to Tom, he was a high S. You think you're going to remember that, but you really don't. You do get so busy that you don't remember those things. So you should have a database. You have Command. If you don't have a database, start using Command, or whatever it is that you're using. Put notes in there so that you know how to script with them the next time. This is such a huge topic, scripting, and there's so many different areas that you can script on. I would say make a plan on what you want to script, whether it's sphere of influence or expireds, or personalities. If you want to script on I'm not a high D, how do I want to speak to a high D? Or I'm not I'm not a big analytical, how do I speak to an analytical? I'm going to need some practice at that. So you can script on personalities, on buyers, on referrals, asking for referrals. You can script on open houses. So if you're just starting and you're trying to find open houses to do, maybe for other agents that are busy in your market center, script on open houses. There's an art to that too, on engaging people, on getting unsigned buyers to set appointments with, stuff like that. All of these areas are places where you can script. They're not all lengthy scripts. They can be really quick ones too. But with big reward, you need a big skill set. So I would break down your scripting goals based off of those categories, so that you build your script set, your skill set with scripts on purpose. So you get really good at this one and moving on to this one. And then before you know it, you're building on them, and you're taking from one that you practiced and it's already in your mind, so you can pull it out when you need it, when you're scripting or talking with somebody about a different topic. So understanding scripts, you need to read them and you need to say them out loud, and then keep repeating them. And then you keep going on from there. And so this is really kind of a homework slide. Go back into this presentation and, look at these slides and figure out how you can internalize these. And when you pull out a script, you can pull out this slide to remind you, what am I supposed to do with this script? I'm supposed to read the first sentence out loud 5 times, and then repeat the same sentence 5 times while smiling. People can hear your smile when you're on the phone with them, just like they can feel your nervousness or your frown.
I have a quick question.
Hi.
I think Tim does a daily script call, I think at 8 or 8:30 or whatever. And I think it's like a 15-minute thing. What's that? What goes on your daily script, Tim? I think it's 15 minutes, right?
Sorry, I just had somebody in my office. That's why I was shut down. So we do at our market center, we do a thing called the Quick Start. And everything we do here is spelt wrong for marketing purposes. So it's KWIK start. We do that at 8:30. 8:30 is mindset. It's just, Aaron and I have a theme every month. So this month's theme is smart plans may be your one thing. So we're talking about the one thing, we're talking about smart plans. And it's myself and Aaron and our market center tech trainer, Robert Vincent, all on the call. And we're doing mindset, talking about a topic. Then he runs a 60-second techno minute to tease what he's going to be teaching during the week. And then at 8:45, we go into scripts. If people have questions about objections or scripts they want to work on, we do script club, because saying script club too early, if you don't really hit that C, can be questionable too. So we go with script club. SKWIPT. Anyway, so I mean, it's perfectly set up, because when James Shaw started with us, started doing the national pivot call, God bless him, it was at 8 o'clock, so it never ran into us, because we've been doing our Quick Start for 4 years now. This was well before everybody went digital. Because of the size of our footprint, it just made sense to try to have a locker room speech for everybody to connect with. And it sits on Facebook. If you miss it at 8:30, it's there all day. And clearly, as you guys probably have figured out, I'm an acquired taste, so not everybody watches it, but we're here to remind our agents every morning that we're here for them. So it's mindset and scripts, and that's ultimately what Susan's been preaching all morning, right? You've got to put some air in your sails and then go fill other people's sails. That's our job.
Yep.
Pun
Absolutely.
intended.
Cool. So we're going to move into role play script practice. We're not going to do breakout sessions today, so you guys can all be relieved that we're not going to do that. I trust that by the time we're done, you're going to understand the importance of scripting and that you're going to take that on and find a partner and get your scripts down. If you don't, until you get a partner, use your spouse, use your friend, use your kids, and script with them. So when you do that, you're going to pick a script, pick a partner, and this is your homework, people. We really want you to go back and do this and kind of tell yourself that your script is, I love scripting. I love role play. I love mastering a script. I'm going to master sphere of influence scripts today, and say it like you mean it. And it will make the actual doing part a little bit easier. And then practice. It can be on the phone. It can be on the way to work. It can be, at night, whatever works for you guys. And then you're going to want to switch back and forth too while you're doing that, so that you're each having a turn to be the customer or client or contact, and everyone has a chance to be the agent, and give feedback and stuff like that. Understanding scripts and role play, so your homework is to get a script partner. And when you are scripting, you want to have some energy behind that. You want to, a lot of people like to stand up, and I know I've already talked about like what motivates me in the morning, how I get started. I play loud music or something like that, or say my affirmations. Some people might meditate. Do that first, get your mindset right. And then, when you are scripting with your script partner, give them some objections. You want to help teach each other. You really learn by giving objections. Give them a couple of objections and then give them the win. It's important that we also learn how to take the win when we're on the phone with people, so that you have you're learning how to listen for the acceptance and the nod of the head that they're ready to move forward, and then jumping into that and switching gears. Arrange script practice partner, spend 15 minutes. That's about the time that you only need 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be long. Another thing that's very powerful is record yourself saying your scripts on your phone and play them back so that you can hear what you're saying. You want to get better. So, you might not realize how many times you say, or you might have a trigger word that you're not aware of, like, right? Yeah, that's mine. I'm constantly, even in conversation, somebody will be talking, I'll be going, right? That's a trigger word for me. So if I'm not aware of that, I might say it 10 times on a call. That's not good.
Yeah. Is a huge crutch for a lot of people. It's my favoritist. I say it all the time. And because I'm a high I and I can't slow down, is filler. It's the connective tissue between my next ridiculous thought. So I have to fill the airspace because God forbid I take a breath, right? So there's a lot of with me, and I've been working on it my entire life. I'm probably going to die trying to get rid of that. But to Susan's point, yeah, look at your game tape. What corrections can you make? And are you exuding confidence when you're talking? Are you asking great questions? And are you giving them time to respond? Gary said this at family reunion. Great leaders don't have all the answers. They have all the questions.
Yep, absolutely. Professional sporting teams replay their games and their practices, and they watch them and they critique them, and they have an opportunity to look and see what they did right and what they did wrong. And we're those same people. It's just that our profession is real estate. So we need to record ourselves so that we can become a more powerful communicator, so that we can raise our level of integrity and raise our level of service. And a great way to do that is to record yourself. Just because you're a good talker does not mean that you're a good communicator. Just because you're not a good talker doesn't mean you're a good communicator. It's really important to understand that. And recording yourself and listening to what you say will help pull those pieces out and engage somebody else to listen to those with you if that helps you. They might be able to pull something out of your recordings or say, or be like, you know what, that is a trigger word when you say absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So it will pull those things out and have us, also have a sense of humor about it. The scripting is a chore when you first get started. So have some fun with it, have a sense of humor about it. And it will help you get through those pieces.
Speaking of film, it shouldn't shock anybody if you're a New England fan. And I never really thought about this because you think now everybody's just, trying to get home at that point. They go back into Gillette after they win a Super Bowl and review the film. And in a shocking development, Belichick has things they need to work on. Like they're pulling confetti out of their underwear. And he's like, here's where we screwed up in the third quarter. Like we won the whole thing, coach, right? But there's room for improvement, right? So even if you win the kitchen table and you're walking away with a signed listing, think about, there could have been room for improvement. Don't just ignore the opportunity for growth because you ultimately hit your goal. Like how could you have done that better? What about your presentation? Could you have been more efficient?
Yeah. And then maybe you're going to pick one thing or two things that you want to add into that script. After you listen to it, write it down, cross out what you didn't like on whatever you wrote down, write down something new. When you've mastered that script or you feel like you've mastered it, kind of try to change it up a little bit. Think about that disc profile and who you're speaking to. If I have this script for sphere of influence and I'm talking to that engineer, or what is that script going to look like when I'm talking to a high D? Recording yourself will help you be able to make those little adjustments. And before you know it, you won't have to look at your script anymore when you're on the phone with someone. You'll have internalized it. And boy, when you're on the phone with someone and you haven't looked down at your script and you're hearing yourself just say these things like nobody's business, like you've been doing this forever, that feels awesome. Or when you're talking with someone and you're getting that feedback from them, like they heard what I said and I'm moving them through this conversation and they're just accepted my appointment. That is validation that all the work that you've put in has paid off. So take that win yourself too, for sure. Okay, so we are recapping ahas. So who would like to share? Who has an aha today that maybe something that we all chatted about resonated with them or something that they want to incorporate into their day?
I thought it was really great. I'm completely new to this, so it's nice to hear like seasoned people talk about different things that they're doing, and hearing Tim say about, going door knocking for a buyer, or, someone might have expressed interest in their home. That to me was like the mindset I just think is great, because I think, you have to get creative probably in these times. So that was an aha for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
The aha moment for me was the open-end questions. I feel like I've been asking a lot of close-ended questions. I've been getting all those yes and no's. So I actually started contacting some people and actually asking more open-end questions so I can get more information.
That's awesome. Are you getting good results from that?
Yes, I'm actually getting more information from some people right now as we speak.
An aha for me was, instead of, always be closing, but always go for the appointment, like always be trying to get that appointment. And so kind of having scripts for overcoming rejections, that was really helpful for me to learn today.
Yeah, fantastic.
I'm just starting to realize how beneficial scripts can be. Like I've got all the script books, I've never taken a whole lot of time to start to like sit down and read them just yet, but I think I'm starting to finally realize like how beneficial they can be. and closing a deal out. So it kind of resonated with me today.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it can be overwhelming. I agree that, when you look at that script book and there's so many, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm a big fan of, I'm kind of a squirrel. I get distracted very easily. I'm like, I can be all over the place. So the focusing part can be a little challenging for me. And knowing that about myself, I break things into small pieces. I'm also, I like rewards. So I literally will, on my piece of paper for the things that I have to do, I put check boxes next to anything that's like an action item. I just get so much pleasure out of putting a check mark in it. So I like to break things down into small pieces. And then when I can put a check mark next to it, I feel, I've got 3 check marks today and it's 10 a.m. Cool. So, if something like that works for you where there are so many scripts, break it down into some small pieces.
Yeah, adults love gold stars, right, Susan? For sure.
Absolutely.
I think Atanas has a question.
I have an aha when you were talking about when you're in your listing presentation and you've reached the goal. Read the signals and stop. And I just tend to go on and on and on. And I need to pay more attention to stop when it's time to stop and close.
I love that about you. Yes, I will circle the train around the mountain 15 more times. My coach is always like, land the plane, Timothy, right? Because you might have internally identified, I hear them, I know they're ready to be closed. I'm just going to keep talking. It turns into a word salad. At that point, the civilian might be like, oh, they don't hear me. She's not listening to me. Like, I just gave her all the signs. So yeah, being very aware of that and knowing that your job is done and the next logical step is to sign paperwork.
I'm just going to second that, Tim.
Erin works with me. She's asking me to shut up all the time.
No, but this is just another piece of where scripts can really help you. If you are a person like myself and Tim, who like to use every word the English language affords us and some from other languages. The script keeps you on task, right? So it prevents you from over talking in the situation. So if you are a serial over talker, really lean into your scripts because they will help you to keep the meeting meaningful, on time, focused. If you have the gift of gab and you don't think you need scripts, you actually need them even more to some extent, because we could just talk all day about nothing. So I just wanted to throw that in there. That's how scripts have always been helpful for me, is they keep me on track.
Absolutely. And when you have, when you bring someone down the path of offering value, and they're getting value and they're, expressing to you that they received the value, then you've done your job. They're going to hang up feeling that they might not know to say the words, I got value from talking to Susan, but they will feel it. They'll feel that value. And sometimes the value is not what they wanted to hear. And that's okay. Yeah. When you're being genuine and honest and coming from a place of contribution, sometimes you're telling people what they don't want to hear. Like, your home isn't worth as much as they thought it would, but you're backing that up with a lot of value and information and comparables and this and that. Or you know what, we're going to list your home, but you really need to repaint. It really smells like smoke in here. We have to do something about that. They don't want to hear that, but they need to hear that. Yep. So your body language and your tonality is, your house smells like smoke. And I'm nodding my head when I'm saying things like that to them, because I want them to look back at me and go, I understand that my house smells like smoke. Great. Now what we're going to do about that is this, and you lay out the plan for them. So sometimes the scripting part is because you're telling people things that are hard for them to hear too.
And to the analogy of the person that, like Atanas was saying, I know I'm there and yet I keep talking. Picture your favorite restaurant and you're sitting there having a wonderful meal. Everything has gone splendid. And then there's always that time, and it's probably happened to most of us, that the waiter or the waitress doesn't seem to bring the check. And you're like, what are they waiting for? Like put a bow on this, right? And not that you're not enjoying yourself, but like there's that weird energy of like, why are they not wrapping this up? That would be, to me, is the same way we would feel if we were the civilian and we're like, okay, when are we getting to the part about the stuff about the thing so we can move on with our life too, you know? So just
I've
something
for-
to be very thoughtful about.
Yeah, I've for sure talked myself out of a listing before.
Oh, thousands over here, kid. Thousands. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It happens.
You didn't sign the client? No, they died while I was still talking.
I just
they
kept talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forehead into table right in front of me. Yeah.
Yep. This
May I
had-
ask a quick question?
Yes, please do.
How many potential clients have you worked with and almost had until your first listing or, buyer?
Not sure I understand your question, but how many potentials before I signed one?
Even if you did sign one, like how many, how many potentials or leads did you have to go through in order to get your first listing?
All of them.
It's a numbers game, for sure. But go on Facebook and find someone that listed with somebody else. That's probably your first one.
All right.
And that sucks. Sorry, I really tried hard not to say any bad language because I do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm such a garbage mouth, but it has it happened to me? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? I really punish myself when I see that. I just get like fired up. Like,
Well, not even that, but
again.
Clients that you were able to communicate with and you turn them from leads to you started cultivating them. And by potential, I mean, like you've already communicated with them and they're already willing to, and then later down the road, they're just like, oh, never mind.
So that is fantastic conversation. Thank you for bringing it up. That means you need scripts around closing the deal. You need to script around asking for the business. So, and it's very timely. Yesterday, buyers right now are very challenging to work with, but we're working with them. And I have a few buyers that can be, they want a lot of my time, and I'm happy to give it to them if they will be loyal with me. And I have direct conversations around that. So I hung up the phone yesterday, and in my office, I said, you know what? I am not going out with any of these people if they don't sign their paperwork. And I mean it. I'm not doing it. I'm not giving myself to them until they sign the freaking paperwork. Of course, I don't say it like that to them.
Nice job, Susan.
But
Yeah, she has. That's how she lost them, actually. Sign the freaking paperwork.
But,
Sign it already.
Sign it. And sometimes I am direct with them. Like learn your people. Sometimes I am direct with them. I'm like, we're ready to go. There's properties you want to see this weekend. I'm happy to get all of this information. I'm happy to spend my Saturday morning with you. I can't do anything else for you until you sign these documents.
Yeah, and
I'm
I
ready
think
to go if you're ready to go.
to what Atanas was talking about before too, and I think to create some genuine false excitement, you guys have the right to create exclusivity, just insofar as, when you're talking to somebody, if you're at that point, like, listen, Nick, with the level of service we want to deliver to our clients, we know we have the bandwidth to service and help 48 families this year. I'd love for you to be one of them. Right? Not that you're this endless ride that people can jump on and jump off of, but if you're going to jump and be a client, the reason the curtain hangs between coach and first class is to remind you you're sitting in coach. If you fly with me and my team, you're never going to see the curtain, right? So I'm inviting you into one of those 48 seats this year, whatever your number is, right? And then above and beyond that, we see this on social media all the time. I think it's brilliant. I see a lot of my friends who are hairstylists do this. You guys could do it too. I've got one more appointment this weekend. Is anybody free at 1:30 on Saturday to find out where their house currently stands in the marketplace? You probably have you'll be home talking to your cat all afternoon, but you make it sound like you only have a 1:30 on Saturday, right? Just to start to get people interested in the conversation. Wow, she just got started. Wow, she's in demand. Wow, we'd love to know where we stand in the marketplace. There's a lot of creative ways you can do that. And certainly, to Susan Kenyon's point, guard your time by getting the paperwork signed. Right? Because we shouldn't be having an open conversation about their hopes and their dreams and their motivations until we have them at a client level. We don't want to have those conversations with consumers.
Yeah. So that's where I always go, Tim. And when I was new in the business, I felt like I was, for consumer protection, I needed you to sign this paperwork, right? In my mind, that was, I don't want to know all your stuff until we have a client relationship. And so getting your script and that close conversation, you've gotten your pre-approval. We know we've sat down and had the conversation about what it is that you're looking for. At this point, to go forward, for me to start setting up appointments for you, this is the next step, right? Whatever your process is, just build your process and communicate that to your clients so that they can become your clients, right? Do not show properties without signed contracts.
Yeah, and what I ended up using for scripts with this particular buyer was, we know there's properties that you're going to be interested in seeing this weekend. I am totally up for spending that time with you. We're going to go look at them. This is what we're going to be looking at. In order for us to be fully prepared for you to put an offer on the house of your dreams this weekend, we need to do this work ahead of time. And part of that is you signing your documents, and part of it is getting your pre-approval again, and all of these other steps. But the first step in order for us to get you signed on a contract this weekend and put an offer in is getting your documents signed ahead of time. We shouldn't be doing that on Saturday morning. It should be done ahead of time.
Yeah, one of the many blessings of COVID is the expediency in which we can ensure them that we got to move this ball quickly. If they're really playing, if you really want to get on the field to play, we need to be locked and loaded and ready to go, not haphazardly throwing offers around on a Saturday like that. That's make believe. And I know a lot of you guys just landed. Welcome to real estate. I know a lot of us, before we got into real estate, watched way too much HGTV. Your civilians are getting their edumacation, real word, look it up, getting their edumacation with HGTV, which stands for Holy God Television. Like that, it makes me want to lose my mind. It's awful programming, right?
It's like
because
a
there's not a
comedy
show.
channel. I love it.
There's not a 22-minute show of you guys making phone calls, because that's not sexy. The civilians don't want to see that. They're like, oh, I think they buy the one without the furniture. We know that, Barbara, right? So let's just make sure that we are really bringing them into a real life conversation about what it's like to be in this business, boots on the ground in your local marketplace. They're seeing news headlines from the national news. We have to bring them back down to what's important about your town and how can I educate you as your local expert.
Yep. Atanas, you still have your hand up. Did you have something else to share for an aha, or anybody else?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just never got to go.
Just checking. I just want
my aha.
Not you.
What
no,
are you? I have a question.
I'm sorry.
After you.
No, so just an aha moment that I took was about finding out what's motivating them to sell and asking those questions. Because my thing is, when I read scripts, I just feel like they don't sound genuine, especially because I read exactly what's on there. So just asking them their motivation and going off of that, it just shows them that you do care, and it doesn't make it feel so like scripty.
Yeah. Well, good. That means if you're reading the scripts, that means you're doing that first one. Read the scripts. Where is it?
So I've read the script
Step one. Read the script. So good job.
And I have read it with other people as well, or sometimes with my team leader, I would just call her and just go right into it, like I'm calling her and doing the script with her. But yeah, I just need to get in, be consistent.
Yeah, Atanas, Erin and I always ask our agents at 463, what's your favorite movie? And logistically, where did your favorite movie start? And I'd say Caddyshack, which isn't a great example. So let's use Bridges of Madison County. Logistically, that movie started at a huge table with a bunch of people reading words for the first time. And there was no emotion there yet, right? They were logically reading the words, and bold law, logic makes them think, emotion makes them act. When we can start to passionately deliver our words and make sure that we can romanticize what we're doing in this industry, that will get people into action. So it's going to sound scripty until you've read it enough that you've internalized it, memorized it, and you can exercise it. Okay. So every time you read a script for the first time, well, it doesn't sound like me. Well, you didn't write it and you haven't read it yet. And I appreciate that. So as you say it more and more, you're going to start to Frankenstein scripts together. Most of your veteran agents are pulling from scripts. Jeff Glover, who we saw this morning, he's pulling scripts from all over the place and making it work for the appropriate conversation. And it's not, again, it's not to lead the buyer, the seller, or the investor to a path of success for us, but for them. Right? Most of your scripts are questions.
Well, and also just as a side note, all your teachers use scripts every single day. And Susan and Tim and myself have been using a script all day to guide this class, right? So just recognize it's our professional language. And the more that you speak it, the more it becomes a part of you. And it doesn't sound like a script anymore. So, yeah.
I think Brooke had a question.
Yeah, this is back to when Susan was talking about not going out to show houses until her buyer customer is signed as a client. So I made that mistake and I talked about it on Monday, how I went and showed somebody that called me within the hour and gave them all this information. They're my friend in the nursing field, so I didn't think they'd do me wrong and whatever. The next day they went and got another agent to show them a different house because I didn't respond in a quick enough fashion. So what is your I guess, script when you meet resistance from someone that maybe, I mean, this was granted only an hour from the time she called me to when we showed. So how would you say, hey, I need to get you to sign before we can show you this property? And what are you getting for resistance on that type of conversation? What does it look like?
That's a great question. And, you know, it's a little awkward to say, I need you to sign these documents.
Yeah.
But what we want to always be doing is showing them value and be communicating at a high level about what the impact is going to be to them. So I would most likely start with, I'm so excited that you're ready to look for a home, and we've talked about your lending, and I can definitely help you, and I'm going to set you up on a listing cart so you're getting properties directly from the multiple listing service. But I know that there's a lot of resources out there for you to go to where properties are going to be coming at you, like from Zillow or Realtor.com, or you're passing by an open house. However, I am here for you as your agent. So I'm going to send you some documentation so that we can have a loyalty agreement with each other. And when you see something pop up, I am your best resource. So if you see something online on Realtor.com or Zillow, or ask them, where do you see properties? Oh, you see properties there? When you see one, give me a call. And what that does for you is that I can get you the most accurate information, because not all of those aggregate sites have accurate information. I can let you know if it's still on the market. I can pull property disclosures. I can go through the photos and really determine if, you know, it has that big backyard that we just talked about you really need for your kids. So part of my job and part of what I do for you is I'm going to help you find that perfect house, so that when we walk through the door, we know that we've already checked off the big buckets here. We already know that we're hitting the most important things for you. Does that sound like a good idea? Great. So
Yes.
I'm also going to send you some cards. So when you have a house or a property that you see, don't call the listing agent directly. Just make me your first phone call, and you're never bothering me. Because one thing that buyers don't tell you, a lot of buyers feel like, I don't want to bother Susan. Guess what? I love to be bothered. So please make me your first phone call. When you're out there in the marketplace and you see some properties, let me be your first phone call, because I am your advocate. Does that sound good for you? Great. Then I'm going to send over some paperwork so that we have that piece taken care of, so that when we identify the right house for you, we are ready to go. And I'm really excited about working with you. Then you get out your handwritten note. You send them a thank you. Tell them about how you can't wait to be working with them. You toss some cards in it, and then you mail it off to them. And then the next day you call them. I set up your listing cart. Did anything pop in there that you like? I see that you favorited some. I see that you haven't opened it up. Whatever it is that you need to do to be engaging with them and reminding them that I'm your first call. Because something happened that they didn't think that they should call you.
Well,
So
that's what I was going to say, Brooke. I said, I think it's important for everybody, before you tell yourself the story that your friend was not treating you well. Most of the public do not understand how our industry works. And as Tim just said, HGTV is educating them. They're also being bombarded by online search engines that are sending buyers to all over the place. Tell yourself a different story. I need to educate my friend what my value is as a realtor to them and how this industry works. So when you work with me, I'm working for you and I'm going to be checking things out. I'm going to set up your appointments. You don't need to call and talk to 50 agents, right? Like you just have to work with me. And that's important because that's almost a limiting belief right there. And that puts you in a position to not follow through with your friend, right? But she needs more information. She just needs to understand how to work with you and how you can help her, right? So I would go back and say, hey, don't call everybody and make a bunch of appointments. Call me first, right? Just like Susan's saying. So I just think, because we all run into that. And I think the more experience you have in the industry and the more you're going to realize the public truly just doesn't know how things work. I had someone ask me the other day about how multiple offers work and is a cash buyer better than a financed buyer, and they just really truly don't know. So there's an education hat that we have to wear. So I
think it's really important in that first conversation I had, and it was my first conversation. I wasn't expecting it. She called me and I was just thrown off. And now that I have, obviously this experience was painful, but like now I am 100% more prepared. And I realized I lost her to a Zillow. Like she sent me the house that she wanted to look at, and she could click request a showing time and didn't.
Sure.
She texted me to see it, but Zillow hit first and some other agent contacted her.
Yeah.
So I lost her to that showing time in Zillow.
Yeah. So that's your app too. So get your KW app set up. And as soon as your friend contacts you, search through here and I can set up showings for you. They don't know. They click everything. I've had sellers say that they're getting calls because they're looking for information on their own listing because they're on realtor.com. And I'm like, don't click anything.
So go back to ask great questions.
Yeah.
Ask them well and listen carefully. So when you're talking to that next buyer, ask great questions. How are you currently seeing properties? Oh, I go on Zillow. Oh, fantastic. You're going to see a lot of properties on there. One thing that we always want to caution people about on Zillow is that they don't always have accurate information. And as soon as you click a button, that's going to go out to about 5 realtors and you're going to get inundated with phone calls, which that's a pain, isn't it? Then they're going to go, yep. But you know what? The best part about that is that I'm your resource for that. So go ahead on Zillow. And now I'm approving. I'm acknowledging you're going on Zillow. I'm approving. It's okay to go on Zillow. What you do when you go on Zillow and you see something that you like is that you call me because I have so much more accurate information than what you can get online. Does that sound like a good plan?
And ultimately, Brooke, our job is to communicate, and to Erin's point, communicate, educate, facilitate, right? And we have to be always communicating our value proposition, educating the client in the industry, and then facilitating the transaction and moving them forward. And what's really important for everyone to remember, if you're sitting there as party of one right now, if it's you and your cat and a cup of coffee and you've got no metrics, if you're on a team, you've got your team's metrics. If you're at part of a market center, which all of you are, you've got your market center metrics. So if I'm here at 463, I can roll it back and be like, okay, in 2020, or even reach out to your office and get some real numbers. Most of your market centers will probably have them posted on a monthly basis. And to broaden your value proposition as a growing agent, because none of you are new, you got here at least yesterday, right? So you're all growing now, is I'm able to say, hey, Brooke, here's the thing. As we get started, what we know, feel, felt, found, or what we know, I understand how you feel. We've had a lot of clients that have felt the same way. What we found is that most of our buyers don't necessarily pull the trigger on the first home they look at. And me and my team here at KWCLM in 2020 and moving into 2021, we've helped 5,000 families buy, sell, or invest in properties. And of the 1,200 that bought with us, 800 of them bought a property that was connected to our market center. You start to build that mindset that most of our people walk under our umbrella and everything takes place here. So do you want to have a million conversations, or do you want to go on a great trip with your field guide, Tim? Awesome. Sign here, right? And we just got to build our value proposition. And I know you guys feel like I don't have any numbers to talk about. I don't have a value proposition. You do. We have to start to uncover that and script that for ourselves so we can communicate that to our people. Okay.
You know what? My thought with Brooke is 2 things. First of all, you may not have lost that client. Just because she went to Zillow doesn't mean they're gone. So I would stay in touch with them. The other thing is you're a nurse. You said you came from the nursing field. She's a nurse. Now you've got something in common. So I would go back and relate to something that you do. Well, remember how we had to teach our patients about getting inserting an IV. I think if you have common ground with someone and come from that perspective, I don't think you've lost her. I think you've only lost her if you let her go. Stay in touch with her.
And if she's signed with someone else, move on to the next one. Because your goals here for Spark are to have 10 contacts added daily, 10 conversations daily, 10 handwritten notes, and 10 home previews per week. So that's the week, actually, not the day. So those are your goals. So move on to the next one. Every no gets you closer to a yes. So keep at it. And I know we're running out of time. I just want to make sure that we hit on the do not call list. If you don't know how to use the do not call list, please reach out to your market center. I'm not going to review that today, but it's super important. There's huge fines around that. Is it $41,000, Tim? $41,000.
Close, 42 and change. But at that point, who's counting, right?
Right.
If you got
Right.
42 grand and you have no desire to go on vacation or eat in the next year,
Yeah.
make those calls.
Yeah, so
Go
we
crazy.
want to make sure that we're not calling people on the do not call list. If you do call somebody on the do not call list, then here's your script. I'm so sorry. I will not be calling you again. I apologize. And then get off the phone and move on to the next call.
I had a question about that. If somebody attends an open house and they say that they're not working with an agent and they give you their phone number, do you need to look them up to see if they're on the do not call list, or can you just follow up with them?
Follow up, baby. You follow up.
Okay.
They've given you permission. Make the call and do it that same day.
Okay, great.
And put them on a listing card and send them a text and, anchor yourself to them with value.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Definitely what I would do.
And more important than the follow-up is the follow through, right? Because
Yes.
usually on the follow-up, they're asking for something of value from us. And if you put it on a cocktail napkin or a 3M note and it gets lost somewhere, then we never follow through. We're starting to build confidence in them, in us as we move forward. So follow-up followed by follow-through is very important. And that all happens when you have your humans in command. So there's a systematic way that you're staying in touch and delivering value.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other tool that you have is to create your success list. I love this because we always have a lot to do. We do the most important things first because you don't always have time to do them later in the day. Your lead gen and your script practice is first. So when you fill this out, whether it's on a printed form like this, or whether it's like me in my notebook, at night before you leave, before you settle down, write out your daily success list for the next day and do your most important things first. The quality of communication directly impacts your quality of life. So communicate effectively and in a positive manner with yourself and with your family and with your contacts and your clients, but make sure that you first start with yourself. Say nice things to yourself. And that's all I have for today. I'm really trying to stay on track. I'm 3 minutes over. I'll stay on after the call if anybody has a question specific for me, but thank you guys so much for all of the engagement. I truly am grateful for your participation. I know you guys are going to do great out there. And I will be back on the 14th for a day in the life of the agent.
If you guys could do us a favor, Susan Kenyon is a golden goddess here at 463. We appreciate that she's able to do these Ignite sessions for us. If you see your leadership in your market center, can you please let them know that they need to let Nathan Dickey, who's ROP here in Portsmouth and also the regional director for Region 17, which is New England, the Golden Triangle. Welcome. Just let them know that she did a great job. The same way that you guys appreciate a referral from your friends, letting our leadership know that the people that are coming in to spend their time to grow all of us is wildly important. So thank you, Susan, for your time today.
Thank you. My pleasure. Awesome.
Questions, comments, concerns? What do we got?
This is great. Thank you.
They're waiting for cake.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I hope you guys go out there and just kill it. I know you can do it.
I know a lot of people put their information, their contact info in the chat. Obviously, as we leave the room, that's going to go to the ether. So if you're looking for that accountability buddy or the scripting partner, go to our Keller Williams New England Ignite 2.0 page and just drop it in the comments on that Facebook page. That'd be a great place for you guys to connect as well.
I do have a quick question, Susan. This is
Yeah.
Grace.
Hi, Grace.
And so being new to this, but I've worked in the corporate world for many years, but being new to the real estate where I've always wanted to be in, when does this being overwhelmed with information, fear?
Stopped. I'm still overwhelmed with information.
Like, how do you, I think what's happening in the past week and a half is that, how do I, organize myself? What's of importance?
So your importance is scripting and lead
I
generation.
got that from here, this one, yeah.
And lead generation. You have to just start. You have to start by talking
out
about
there.
real estate. You just got to get yourself out there. But I promise you, if you put yourself out there and your goal is to make a connection and to add value and you're authentic, you will be well received. And if you get a grumpy person on the phone, sometimes people just have a bad day. Allow them to have that, but don't allow yourself to take it on. Wish them well and move on to the next person. And that doesn't mean the next call to them will be the same. They could be just having a bad day. So come from contribution. And if you're just starting your calls with, hey, how are you? I'm so looking forward to connecting with you, and start asking about them. When I ask about them, they organically are going to ask about me. And that's when I can start bringing in real estate. I don't start throwing up real estate to them when I first get on the phone with them. It comes through the conversation. That would be I would say, just start talking to people about real estate. It will start rolling.
I love that you said start, Susan. And I don't know, I forget when I heard this, probably my rookie year. Somebody said, you don't need to be great to start. You need to start to be great.
Okay.
Right. If we truly consider ourselves a gift to the universe and you decide to hide under your bed today, you're not serving the world. So just, people are getting you. Here's the thing. As we go through our career, 50% of the room is not going to love you, Grace. The other 50% is going to adore you. The important thing is 100% of the room knows who you are.
So I'm in an area where it's, it's on the coast of Maine, and a lot of people walking, a lot of vacationers, and a lot of people have moved up here. So I've kind of shared with everyone, hey, I'm changing careers now. I'm going into real estate, and I, have a chat with them. And these are people I know and I see walking, and they're like, whoa, when you get your card, give them to me. So is that a lead? Do I do more than just give them a card?
Yeah, you put them in your database, and then you put them on a plan to call them and to communicate with them, even if you're starting off with once a quarter. And I'm going to really encourage you to look at the words that you're saying and the language that you're using. I'm going into implies that you're not already there.
Well, I wasn't there when I was telling
You're
you.
already there, honey. I'm
there now. Yes.
in real estate. I am so excited to be in real estate.
Yeah. Okay.
And those are scripts, hon. Those are scripts. Write them down. I am
When I have my cards, I'm still working on getting cards. So when I have my cards, send them a little note and say, here's my card, and pass them on to anyone that's interested. And I look forward to talking to you or any family members or friends.
If your cards aren't ordered, then
use your
have them
app.
ordered today.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time trying to decide what's the best one to get.
It doesn't matter. Just order them.
Okay, should we have?
And I think you should
have
Facebook
pictures
me
on
when
the
you have them ordered.
Should we have the pictures on the cards, or can it
Doesn't matter.
It's up to you.
It should
Don't
have
worry about it.
phone
You're
number,
overthinking it. You're overthinking it.
You're overthinking it. Have your, be compliant, have your brokerage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Touch base when you hang up, touch base
Yeah.
with your leadership to make sure you're compliant.
Yeah.
And then it must have your contact information in your name. That's all that it takes. They're $25. If you decide that you didn't like them after they came in, order another one with your picture on it. But just get them in so you have something to give.
Grace Olson, I get stuff done. 207-635-9495, right? Just Yeah, you're overthinking it. And I love that about you. But every one of you on this call, if you're still waiting to create the perfect business card, you've got the perfect business card. It's digital, it's in your phone, it's your app. It's the business card they will never lose. Start to disseminate that, because that they can digitally share with their friends and you'll be in everyone's phone.
Yep.
Keith had a question too.
Quick question. I joined the program a day late. Is there a participation guide, like as far as all this information? Where do I grab all of that?
So all of the tools are, so there's a couple different places. You can go on Connect on KWU in the Ignite section and get all of these materials if you're with KW. The other place, if you're not with KW and just want to, for ease, you can go to our Facebook group, the Ignite to Keller Williams New England Ignite group, and you can get all of the resources in the guides section. So under the banner, there's a menu. You'll see the word guides. If you click on that, it will open it up. Basically a file folder of all the different sessions, and you can get the participant guide, the slides, and any other additional resources that are shared. Some sessions people share different things, and you can get those in there. There's also a guide for the do not call list with some videos and explanations on how to register yourself for the do not call registry and do all of that. So there's a few different places, and we will be posting things for each session during the session. But if you missed something, you can always get it off the Facebook group or on KWU.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Jill Gordon.
I was only going to share with Grace, but I think it looks like she left the message that I was kind of stuck with the business card thing at first because I couldn't find the perfect picture. I didn't know exactly how I wanted to lay it out.
It's really common.
I was stuck at the stupidest thing, and then finally it was to the point where in 4 hours I needed a business card. So I walked outside and it was too windy. My hair was blowing. All of a sudden I jumped in my car and I'm like, hey, this is good. I snapped a picture. It was me in my car. It's so tiny anyways, it doesn't matter. But Avery Labels sells business cards that I just put it in my printer. I printed them off. I had them like immediately. And then of course I had to go through the compliance to make sure that I had all the accurate information. And they read through my card. I had to make a couple of adjustments. So I have 10 illegal cards out there, but, but I
There it
promise
is.
it's nothing bad. It's just I was missing.
Use your own script. I'm sorry.
You think of the little O in the parentheses and little C in parentheses. So anyway, if anybody else has not started their business card and they need one and they don't have time to order now, you can go to Staples and pick up some Avery Labels, and they're nice. They're really nice.
Yeah, Vistaprint does a good job. Moo does a good job. Again, to Jill's point, and Susan said it earlier, make sure you're running all of your external marketing, business cards, signs, and stuff like that need to go through your compliance director to make sure you have the appropriate information for legal reasons.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say like your business cards are valuable when you're sending your cards to people, your handwritten notes and things like that. It's important, but anytime you can grab somebody's information, that's even better. So
That's a contact.
get your app set up as your digital business card and share that. And in the meantime, so if you're going to do something today so that you can walk out into the world and share your information with people, set up your app today.
I just had a quick question. So this is all super helpful. So thank you guys so much for all of this. Really appreciate it. But are we going to have, is there going to be another day where we're going to go over reaching out or prospecting for people that we don't know that are outside the sphere of influence? So, like cold calling or, just people that we don't know?
Yeah, so we have a session on prospecting and one on marketing. So, and all the different, there's a very long list of different ways to do that.
Spoiler alert, fear of engagement comes up every day.
Yeah.
So don't worry. It'll get covered for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
sir.
Thank you guys.
You got it.
I have a question for you. I'm actually out of the Portsmouth office, and one of my biggest fears is there's I keep being told there's 725 agents out of that office. That's intimidating, knowing that in the Seacoast area alone, there's that many agents. And, you know, when you're going around and door knocking, or you're trying to get prospects, or you're trying to get leads. And I mean, I myself, I mean, I grew up in Portsmouth, where I have like 5 or 6, 7 people that I know that I grew up with that are real estate agents. I have an aunt that's a real estate agent. So in my head, I'm like, okay, well, where do I start? Where do I begin? Because everybody that's in my close, you know, spheres and circles, and it's very intimidating.
The difference between you and everybody else on the planet are the loved ones in your phone. Like if you're a gardener, I'm not. I kill plants or I eat them at lunchtime. Usually in a Cobb salad if anybody's ordering lunch. So here's the thing. The heirloom seeds of your greatness for your real estate business, Victoria, are already in your phone. And we hear this all the time. Yeah, there's 725 agents at KWCLM. There's a whole bunch in Greater Portland. There's 7,000 licensed agents with Keller Williams in New England. Well, at the very least, at least you're standing on the right sideline, right? Because if you were party of one, if you were at that little boutique real estate shop, you'd still be in competition with the 725 out of 463, right? So you've got 724 teammates behind you. And leaning into your initial relationship. Somebody asked about, Nick was asking about, you know, how many at-bats did you have before you got your first home run? Like how many deals did you work before you got your first listing? I got to my first listing very quickly because it was somebody I knew, loved, and trusted down in Massachusetts, right? So really, you're going to get sick of hearing us say this to you. Building, and it's not, you're not calling Susan Kenyon today to see if she wants to move. Her and John love where they live. They've got a 15-car garage. He's got 18 Harleys. Like they're not moving anytime soon. You're calling Susan Kenyon to find out who she knows that you should know, Victoria, right? Because you want to just grow your sphere of influence by building it with more people that are like you, that you have commonalities with. And I'm not saying don't go do the door knock. That's a thing. But yeah, you're going to run into, we know Troy Williams, or we know this person or that person. You're going to run into a lot of people that have relationships with the veteran agents. It's okay. They started before you. What I can tell you as a coach is time on task will beat talent every time. You're going to have some veteran agents that will rest in their laurels. And if you decide to put your head down and hustle, you will get there too. Okay.
There's also enough business for all of us.
Amen, sister. We don't have enough listings. We don't have enough listings. So
There's-
we must be doing something currently wrong right now. Said
Yeah.
with love.
There's enough business for you and everyone else on this call right
There's
now.
enough pie. Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
So
I
we're-
appreciate you. Thank you.
You got it.
Yeah, totally tell yourself that affirmation. I remember feeling the exact same way when I started, and I would just tell myself, there's enough business for all of us. There's enough business for all of us. So, you know, when you feel that little creeping fear, and everybody was new once. So just whatever you got to do, get your mind right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I think everybody's good. Is everybody
Yeah,
good?
I
We
think
all
we're
good?
at 12:18, guys.
Awesome.
Good questions.
Thank you, Susan Kenyon, so
Thank
much for your
you.
time.
Welcome. Have a great
You're-
day, everybody.
See you guys.
I'm ending it now.
End it.